If you turn your favorite hobby into a job, you'll end up hating what you used to love. That's why you should purposefully choose a job you dislike and just endure it for 8 hours. You'll be happier if you spend plenty of time on your favorite hobby after that. Some streamer who's good at winning arguments was passionately saying that. But I couldn't help but think he was wrong.
Hey, Tatsuru, working overtime this late again?
Huh? President Ogawa? Whoa, I didn't realize it was so late.
I appreciate your dedication, but your health comes first. Go home now.
I'm Tatsuru Kanda. I'm 28 and work at Love Koi Publishing, a small company with less than 10 employees, including the president. You're one to talk, President Ogawa. You're working late too.
It's fine for me. I started this company to do what I love.
I love this job too. It was my dream to be involved with books, so I don't mind the overtime at all.
Thank you. I'm counting on you. But even if you don't mind, as your employer, I have a responsibility.
Right, I understand. Well, I'll be heading home for today. See you tomorrow. I've loved books since I was a kid and always wanted to work for a publisher, but the publishing world is a tough one to get into. Even the major companies only hire about 20 new graduates, and they're still all about prestigious universities, filled with grads from T University and K University. With my university degree, getting into a major publisher was completely out of the question, Master.
That was common in my day, but it's surprising some companies are still so focused on university prestige. But because of that, you're fulfilled now, right?
Exactly. We don't have enough people to divide the labor, so I get to do everything from start to finish. It's the best. I have a bar I often stop by after work, and on this day, I was making small talk with the master as usual.
Welcome.
Good evening. Oh, Tatsuru, you're here too?
The person who walked in was Konomi Jinbo. I don't know where she works or much about her personal life, but she's a regular I talk to whenever we meet at the bar. Good evening, Konomi. You're quite late today.
I know. You won't believe it. Oh, but first, Master, I'll have my usual dry gin.
From what I heard, Konomi's company seems to be very old-fashioned, with outdated customs still rampant. That sounds tough. So, what about overtime?
Everyone clocks out and then keeps working. It's become an unspoken rule, which is kind of scary. Oh, I'm so jealous of you, Tatsuru. You always look so happy when you talk about your work.
Sometime after that, one night, while I was drinking at the usual bar, a new customer came in.
Welcome.
Just one, is that okay? Konomi Jinbo recommended this place to me.
I see. Thank you for coming. Please, have a seat right here.
A friend of Konomi's? The master showed him to his seat, took his order, and served the man a highball. But maybe it was just my imagination. The master seemed a bit sluggish. He also looked like he was struggling to make conversation. Maybe it's because it's usually just regulars and new customers are rare. Thinking I'd help out, I decided to wait for the right moment and strike up a conversation with him. Nice to meet you. You know Konomi, right? I'm a friend of hers from this bar.
Konomi is my junior at work. You've heard of Erito Publishing, of course.
He quickly handed me his business card. Erito Publishing is the biggest in the industry. His name, full of confidence, was Ko Joshoshi. Konomi works for a major publisher? I know it well. It was my first choice when I was job hunting as a student, but I was rejected right after the first round of interviews.
I see you have quite a past. Are you in the same industry by chance, Tatsuru?
Yes, I work at Love Koi Publishing.
Huh? Never heard of a publisher like that.
I guess not. We only have 10 employees and haven't published any famous books yet. When I said that, Kojo Shoshi scoffed at me as if to mock me. Huh, don't you dare get close to her. You, from some piddly little company? We're the elite from the top company. Know your place. We only talk when we happen to meet at this bar. After that, Kojo Shoshi's bragging about his top-tier company went on and on. If he were drunk, it would be one thing, but if he's always like this, he must have problems with people. I hate to say it, but his behavior gave me a glimpse of the old-fashioned corporate culture and customs that Konomi was worried about. The master had a skeptical look on his face the whole time and didn't join the conversation much. Master, do you think Konomi hates me now? That day, I found myself whining to the master. It had been over 2 months since I last saw Konomi.
Could you not sigh so heavily? You're bringing my mood down too.
But I haven't seen her at all since the day she told me about her problems at work. Even though we're just regulars who know each other from the bar, I can't help but worry when I don't see her for this long. Maybe, did Kojo Shoshi tell Konomi about me at work? Why didn't I get her contact information beforehand? I never expected this to happen.
Gah! A man who can't think ahead will never be popular with the ladies, no matter the era.
Ugh. By the way, has that obnoxious guy, Konomi Sr., been here since?
That was the last I saw of him. I doubt he'll come back, but even if you run into him, you'd better not count on him for anything.
Of course not. It would just add fuel to the fire, and as a man, I don't want to do that. The next time I see her, I'll talk more in depth about work. Just as I was thinking that, the unbelievable happened.
Everyone, there's someone I'd like you to meet. She's our new colleague, a newcomer from a major competitor.
A few days later, seeing the woman who had just changed jobs, my eyes went wide.
I'm Konomi Jimbo from Erito Publishing. It's a pleasure to work with you all.
Konomi? What are you doing at our company?
It's been a while. You always looked so happy when you talked about your job, Tatsuru, so I've been interested for a long time.
Well, even so, coming from Erito Publishing to our company is... I mean, no offense to you, President Ogawa.
I know. I was surprised at first too. But when I heard during the interview that you knew Tatsuru, I was immediately relieved. The name recognition and stability of a major company must be hard to give up, but it showed me you're someone who values fulfillment more. You basically recruited her to her company without even realizing it, Tatsuru. So now you have a big responsibility. Naturally, I'll need you to be her mentor.
Of course. Thank you, President Ogawa. Let's do our best, Konomi.
Yes, let's. I'm looking forward to it.
And just like that, a miracle occurred. The relationship that was just two regulars at a bar a few months ago turned into us being colleagues. In any case, I was relieved to see that Konomi was as cheerful and energetic as ever. Seeing her like this, I guess she didn't hate me after all. Thank goodness. Ironically, during the 2 months I couldn't see her at the bar, I realized keenly that I had special feelings for Konomi. I don't remember telling Konomi where I worked, so she must have heard it from Kojo Shoshi. That said, Konomi wasn't the type of person to look down on me like Kojo Shoshi did.
Tatsuru, I've come up with a few book proposals. Could you take a look?
On her very first day, Konomi brought in already well-developed proposals. Wow, these are all likely to be big hits. Do you have any authors in mind?
Yes. Using my connections from college and my time at Erito Publishing, I can select the perfect author for each proposal from a wide range of candidates.
This proposal skill and your extensive network? You're amazing, Konomi. What about the format?
The format? What's a format?
Her question made my jaw drop, but I quickly added an explanation. The book format, like A5, Shinsho, Bunko, it means the size of the book.
Oh, a different department always figured out the best solution for that, so I don't really know much about it.
Huh? Oh, right. Major companies have a clear division of labor, so what about selecting the paper for the book?
Sorry, I've never done that. Everything related to cost calculation was handled by another department.
What about page design or proofreading? Or maybe visiting bookstores and holding publication events?
Yes, of course. That was a different department or outsourced.
So what exactly can you do besides planning, Konomi?
Checking! I can perfectly check everything that comes in from other departments or contractors. I've also already created a checklist to assess your suitability as my mentor, which I'll be submitting to the president later.
Ugh, please, go easy on me. So, Konomi was a specialist as an editor, and her proposals kept getting approved one after another. This brings our concurrent projects this month to 5. Are you okay with that?
This is nothing. In fact, I'm enjoying the challenge.
Because she came from a major company with a division of labor, there were many things she couldn't do, but it didn't take her long to learn the ropes. And so, Konomi quickly became a key employee at Love Koi Publishing.
Welcome.
Master, it's been a while. I brought a special guest today. The night Konomi's first book was published, I invited her to our usual bar.
Long time no see.
She'd only been away for a little while, but for some reason, Konomi seemed unusually awkward.
It's been a while. Glad to see you're doing well.
Actually, Konomi transferred to my company. Today, we're celebrating the release of her first book, so I suggested we come to the bar where we first met. We all toasted with Konomi's favorite gin, including the master. As we drank, Konomi seemed to relax and started talking about the differences between her old job and her new one.
Editor Publishing has a long history, so everyone's very rigid. They never approve any new proposals. They get angry and tell me that all I needed to do was follow the successful publications of the past, and that a rookie shouldn't do anything unnecessary.
I had a feeling, but it really is that kind of corporate culture, isn't it?
I mentioned before how we'd clocked out during overtime, but compliance is just for show. There's a harassment counseling office, but no one uses it because of a rumor that going there will affect your performance review. It was during that time that I kept seeing you, Tatsuru, looking so happy, and it made me want to change jobs.
So she had decided to change jobs and was too busy with the handover process to come to the bar. Didn't you have anyone at the company you could talk to, like Kojo Shoshi, the one who supposedly recommended this place? I just happened to run into him here, but you must have been on good enough terms for him to recommend his favorite bar, right?
Huh? How do you know about him?
What? I met him here the other day. Did he not tell you about me at work? For just a moment, I thought I saw a shadow pass over Konomi's cheerful face. I got off work on time. Maybe I'll grab a bite to eat somewhere before heading home. As I was thinking that and leaving the building, a man who seemed to be waiting for me suddenly spoke.
Yo, remember me?
The one picking a fight was Kojo Shoshi from Arito Publishing. I hadn't seen him since that day at the bar, but after being ridiculed so much on our first meeting, there's no way I could forget him. You're Kojo Shoshi, the guy I met at the bar a few months ago, right? What's up?
So even someone from a third-rate publisher can remember a face, but it's no use if you've forgotten the most important thing.
The most important thing? What's that?
I told you back then not to make a move on Konomi, didn't I? And yet, she ended up transferring to a piddly little publisher like this. You must have tricked her and pulled some strings behind the scenes, didn't you?
Of course I didn't do that. I didn't even know her contact information until she transferred.
What? If you didn't trick her, there's no way someone would move from the biggest company to a place like this.
Konomi's words, seeing how happy Tatsuro always was, made me want to change jobs. That feeling, that reason for changing jobs, I'm sure it wasn't a lie. It might be third rate in terms of size, but there are a lot of things you can only experience at a small company. What's wrong with someone wanting to find fulfillment and transferring to a company like that?
Someone who failed our company's entrance exam has no right to talk so big.
Say what you want about me, but our company is definitely going to grow from here on out. And I won't let you insult her for taking action with such great determination and courage. I retorted strongly, thinking I might have dampened Kojo Shoshi's spirit, but he quickly recovered.
Konomi.
In the direction he was looking was Konomi, who had just left work. Noticing us, she came over.
Why are you here, Ko?
You came at the right time. This guy is full of lies. I can't even talk to him. Konomi, you're being deceived. Anyone can see a transfer like this is crazy. Snap out of it.
Konomi let out a small sigh and glared at him sharply.
Give me a break. You're the last person I want to hear anything from about my job change. Part of the reason I left Erito Publishing was to get away from the restrictive environment bound by old customs, but a major reason was also the stress and annoyance of you constantly hitting on me, Ko.
Huh?
You went to the bar that Tatsuru and I go to, lying that I recommended it, didn't you? I never told you about that place. What's going on?
Well, that's,
Weren't you secretly stalking me and looking into what I was doing after I left the company?
No way. I wouldn't.
Kojo Shoshi became flustered. Seeing his obvious reaction, probably hit the mark.
You peeked into the bar and saw me talking happily with Tatsuru, and you flew into a jealous rage. You were so desperate to feel superior to Tatsuru that you pretended I had recommended the place and went in another day. Am I wrong?
Kojo Shoshi stayed silent, frantically shaking his head, but neither Konomi nor I were convinced by that.
I'm now working happily in the best possible environment at Love Koi Publishing. Not everyone in the world chooses a job based solely on public recognition or good benefits. Someone as vain as you, Ko, you'll probably never understand. That company harassment counseling office doesn't even work properly, and I knew that no matter who I complained to, I'd just be ignored. That's why I didn't report it to the company. But if you're going to show up here too, I'll have to consider going to the police.
Breaking out in a cold sweat and turning pale, Kojo Shoshi seemed to have lost all will to argue back.
My, what's all this commotion?
Just then, President Ogawa came out of the office. In front of the company, Konomi was tearfully pleading with a strange man. It was only natural for her to be suspicious.
President Ogawa, good evening. I'm sorry for causing a scene.
Konomi, could this man be the one?
Yes, he is.
You knew about this, President Ogawa?
When she was hired, Konomi told me just in case something like this happened. She said there was a senior colleague who was stalking her and might show up here out of spite. I never thought he'd actually come.
I see. Perhaps he didn't like the contemptuous look I gave him, as he once again spat out aggressive words.
Damn it. A bunch of nobodies from a piddly publisher ganging up on me from Erito Publishing?
Hearing Kojo Shoshi's outburst, President Ogawa's expression turned cold, as she calmly retorted.
You really have a foul mouth. I'll have to lodge a formal complaint with the upper management at Erito Publishing.
Huh? A complaint from a nobody like Love Koi Publishing will never reach our top brass. This is why people who don't know their place are such a pain.
At this comment from Kojo Shoshi, both Konomi and I could only hang our heads in disbelief, because...
I see. Well, the president of your company is my younger brother, but you're saying it still won't reach his ears? If you want, I can call my brother right now and have him come over.
Gah!
I hear that her brother has always been afraid of his older sister and can't stand up to her, so you'd better be prepared.
No way! Is that even possible?
Kojo Shoshi hurriedly bowed his head, but President Ogawa ignored him and reported everything over the phone. Shortly after, Kojo Shoshi was summoned by the company's upper management.
As for your power harassment incidents within the company, we could overlook them as an internal matter. However, stalking a former female employee is unacceptable. Do you understand? What? So the treatment changes depending on whether the person is an insider or an outsider?
Trying to save face on only the outside is a sloppy response typical of old companies. In the end, Kojo Shoshi was ordered to be transferred to the book storage in the basement, commonly known as the ouster room. Konomi's long-standing problem was finally resolved, but there was one thing that still bothered me. How did Konomi find out where I worked? I never once told Konomi my place of employment. I thought maybe Kojo Shoshi had told her, but Konomi didn't even know that he and I had met. And yet, Konomi had transferred to my company. If my hypothesis was correct, then that person must be...
Welcome.
Master, you really had me fooled, but I've figured out your true identity.
Now, what are you talking about?
The fact that Konomi knew where I worked, and the fact that you stopped coming here completely after Kojo Shoshi showed up. The way you acted strangely when Kojo Shoshi was here. From all that, you are... Konomi's father, aren't you?
Gah! Ha ha! So you figured it out. Hey, Konomi, it's no use hiding.
Konomi came out from behind the counter.
See? I told you he'd figure it out because you're so sharp, Tatsuru. I'm sorry for not telling you until now. I figured if I was going to drink anyway, I might as well support my dad's bar, and then I just lost the timing to tell you.
Thank goodness. Even the master told me that a man who can't think ahead isn't attractive. But you must have been surprised when Kojo Shoshi suddenly showed up here, right?
Konomi had told me about her senior colleague stalking her, but I never imagined he'd show up himself, lying about being recommended. Back then, they were still at the same company, so I couldn't do anything too drastic. You joining the conversation really helped.
I knew it. You were acting a little strange, Master.
The other day, he staggered in here with a vacant look in his eyes, so this time I yelled, "Don't you ever come near my daughter again," and kicked him out.
Konomi gets angry at her boisterously laughing father, telling him not to be so reckless. Seeing the two of them like this, I knew I wouldn't get another chance. Master, may I have your permission to date... No, to date Konomi?
What? Hey, Tatsuru, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Gah, ha, ha. So, a man who can think ahead tries to win me over first, eh? I like your style. You have my approval. Besides, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't have recommended you transfer to his company in the first place.
Hey, don't leave me out of this.
In every industry, there are big corporations, small and medium-sized businesses, and tiny companies, and all of them are respectable jobs. There's no such thing as a superior or inferior job. Everyone has different values they look for in their work, and it's perfectly fine to turn what you love into a job. Konomi, I look forward to our future together.
Yes, me too.
What's wrong with making a living out of what you love? Thanks to that, I was able to meet my irreplaceable partner. I want to prove it with my own life, so that one day I can even challenge that famous debate king.
9 literary giants, the titans of the literary world, have gathered at a traditional restaurant in Tsukiji. They all wear grim expressions. And for good reason. The Aoki Prize is the highest honor that every writer dreams of. Because the prize holds such value, the selection committee meetings often become heated. This time is no different, as the veteran authors clash with their differing opinions. Teacher, I'm getting really nervous. The winner of the Aoki Prize, the award that will define this year's literary scene, is about to be announced.
Huh? Why are you more nervous than I am, Yuto? You're supposed to be the one keeping me calm.
Right, sorry. This is my first time at a waiting party, too. I'm Yuto Awaji. I'm a 29-year-old literary editor at Erishi Publishing, a major publishing house. Sitting next to me is teacher Surugadai, a popular novelist whose work is a finalist for this year's Aoki Prize. By the way, a waiting party is a gathering where a nominated author and their editors wait for the award results together. This time, we're waiting for the results at teacher Surugadai's favorite bar, enjoying a few drinks.
Still, this waiting party tradition is a great thing. If you win, people celebrate with you, and if you lose, they comfort you. If I were home alone, I'd probably go crazy from the anxiety. So having you here with me is a huge help, Yuto.
This is my first time as the editor for an Aoki Prize finalist too. I can't help but feel nervous. Then, finally, my phone starts ringing loudly. I take a deep breath and tap the screen. Hello? Yuto Awaji speaking. Everyone in the room, including teacher Surugadai, turns their attention to me, listening intently. Yes, I see. Thank you for calling. Yes, I'll be in touch later. Goodbye.
So, how was it?
Teacher, you won the Aoki Prize. Congratulations!
I did it! Thank you! This is all thanks to you, Yuto. Thank you so much for discovering me.
As he said that, teacher Surugadai grabbed my hand and shook it vigorously, his eyes welling up with tears. The bar's owner and the editors from the other companies who came to the party showered him with praise, and the applause was endless. Alright, let's have a proper toast. To teacher Surugadai, congratulations on your award. Cheers!
Thank you. I look forward to working with all of you in the future.
Whether or not an author wins a literary award can make or break their career. Likewise, for an editor, handling an award-winning work makes a huge difference in their career advancement. And thanks to teacher Surugadai, I had earned the title of editor of an Aoki Prize-winning work, the highest honor. However, despite receiving such a prestigious title, my current work environment was, to put it mildly, the worst.
Just because your author won the Aoki Prize, don't think you can start slacking off, Yuto.
Of course not.
You discovering teacher Surugadai, and him winning the Aoki Prize, it was all just a fluke, a lucky break. There are always useless editors who get a big head just because they're in charge of an award-winning author. Especially you, considering you've never accomplished anything before this.
I don't think I'm so great, not in the slightest. That's Teru Hananikake, a senior in the literary department. It's impressive that he's rumored to be the next department head at such a young age, but the problem is, he's a walking ball of pride. Even though our department produced an Aoki Prize winner, he hasn't congratulated me even once. In any case, everyone at Erishi Publishing has a superiority complex, and tripping each other up is a daily occurrence.
With my level of experience, I can see right through people like you. They all get carried away with that exception.
Maybe you've met people like that, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah, I don't need to hear your self-righteous claims about how you're different from the rest. Teacher Surugadai's work wouldn't have sold at any other company. It's all thanks to the history and reputation of Erishi Publishing. What? You look dissatisfied. Don't get cocky, you incompetent fool.
It seems he noticed my expression hardening at his string of insults. I've been at this company for 7 years. After being subjected to this kind of sarcasm every single day, I no longer had any lingering attachment to the company I once admired.
What? You're quitting your job?
That's right. I'm sorry to surprise you with such sudden news. I'm still thinking about my next move, including options outside of publishing. Having made up my mind to quit, I came to an izakaya away from the office to tell teacher Surugadai.
If you don't mind my asking, could you tell me why?
Of course, you've done so much for me, teacher. I confessed that I was fed up with the elitist and exclusionary attitude that pervaded the company, not just from Hananikake, and then...
I see. That's just like you, Yuto. You've always hated judging people by their appearance or titles. After all, you were the only one who seriously read the manuscript of a complete nobody like me. I've been turned away by every other publisher, so your response truly saved me.
Has it already been 5 years since then? How nostalgic. I first met Teacher Surugadai when he brought in his manuscript without an appointment. It was still rough around the edges, but it had a spark that other writers lacked. After telling him that, we spent the next year and a half working together, researching what makes a novel sell until his debut.
I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for you, Yuto, for taking care of me until my debut. I want to be someone who never forgets a kindness, so no matter what happens, you and I will be friends for life.
Teacher, thank you. Once I've figured out my next steps, I'll be sure to let you know.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you'll succeed in any field you choose, Yuto.
Yes, I'll give it some more serious thought. To be honest, the recent decline of print culture had been weighing on my mind, and a part of me felt anxious about the future of the publishing world. I thought that if I were to try a completely different industry, now, on the cusp of 30, might be my last chance. Teacher Surugadai and all the other authors I've met, looking back, they're all precious assets to me. I will continue to live in the world of publishing that I love so much. I made a vow to myself.
Hello? Yuto! It's been a while.
The next day, a familiar voice came through the phone. It belonged to the one person I really wanted to talk to about changing jobs within the publishing industry. Konomi Jimbo, a former colleague who changed jobs a few years ago. I'd only seen her once since then, but I vividly remembered her telling me how much she was enjoying her new job. Sorry for calling you out of the blue. How have you been, Konomi?
I'm doing great. Although I'm actually on maternity leave right now.
Maternity leave? Wow, congratulations! I'm sorry, I didn't know. I hope I'm not bothering you at a busy time. Realizing I should keep it brief, I quickly told her I was thinking about changing jobs.
I see. Well, since I can't really do much right now, how about I introduce you to the person who inspired me to change jobs? He's my husband.
Things moved quickly, and a few days later, I was meeting Konomi's husband, Tatsuru Kanda.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I hear my wife was in your care back at Arishi Publishing. Thank you for everything.
Not at all. Actually, I'm considering a job at your company, and I was hoping I could ask you a few questions.
It's small, but Love Koi Publishing is the best. Independent and anonymous. That's our company culture in a nutshell. You can create books based on your own ideas and take full responsibility, without any unknowing interference. The president is kind, the atmosphere is open. I don't think you'll find a better place to work.
That's amazing. Your wife told me something very similar.
My wife was enjoying her job so much, she was complaining about not wanting to take maternity leave.
Watching Tatsuru speak with such a genuine smile, I could clearly picture a future free from all my worries and anxieties. The mid-career exam for Love Koi Publishing. I'll definitely pass it. So, about 4 months passed. My wish came true, and I joined Love Koi Publishing. I was just starting to get used to the work.
Yuto, when you have a moment, could you please check these gallery proofs?
I can do it now. I'll get right on it.
Thank you.
This is Chihiro Suda. She joined the company right after college, and is 4 years younger than me. She really looks up to me, the guy who transferred from a major publisher. Just to be clear, the reason I speak to her so casually is because she asked me to, so she could feel comfortable and I could teach her more about the job.
But thanks to you joining us, Yuto, our literary department has changed dramatically. Before, authors would just assume their books wouldn't sell if they were published by an unknown company like us.
She must have had a lot of pent-up frustration. Chihiro pouted as she complained. It's true that the name Arishi Publishing helped me out sometimes, but working for a major publisher isn't all good. I told Chihiro about the useless pride and elitism that were the main reasons I changed jobs.
I see. It must have been infuriating to have Teacher Surugadai's achievements, which you worked on together, be credited solely to the company's fame.
That's not all. Do you know why most best-selling novelists only publish with the big 6 major companies?
Huh? Isn't that the very reason I've been struggling all this time? Please tell me.
Every novelist has their own writing cycle. Some take half a year to write a book, some take a full year. They all work at different paces. For example, if an author who takes a year per book writes for 20 different publishers, when can you ask them for a sequel?
Does that mean 20 years later? The readers would get tired of waiting that long for a sequel.
Exactly. So to ensure that best-selling authors publish with them at least once every 6 years, the big 6 thoroughly exclude other companies. The 6 companies work together, constantly taking care of the author's needs, attending drinking parties with them, and basically boxing them in to keep editors from other companies away. If just one other company gets involved, it delays their own guaranteed profitable publication by a year. Of course they're desperate.
That's awful. I had no idea such a dirty adult world existed.
I was on that side until just recently. I probably don't have the right to say anything. Don't worry, this is just about the corrupt traditions and customs of the past. I won't let things stay this way.
Huh? Do you have a plan?
I'm gonna blow a hole through this industry's rotten conventions. In fact, I've already thought of a plan. Saying that, I whispered into Chihiro's ear.
Are you serious?
Chihiro's eyes widened at the plan, which was so outlandish. No, it was downright reckless.
The bad habits of an old industry really are hard to get rid of, aren't they?
That day, after work, I came to an izakaya with Chihiro and Tetsuru, who had helped me before I joined the company. Did your wife say something similar?
She did. Ever since she changed jobs, she's been saying, "The people at Arishi Publishing are nuts. I'm definitely going to write a book about it." So, for her first project after maternity leave, the proposal's already been approved. You should help her out, Yuto.
That sounds exciting. What's the working title?
The smallest dog barks the loudest.
I see. How about a subtitle like The Downfall of a Company of Naked Emperors?
That's good, but isn't it a bit too serious? What about something like, is that pride really necessary?
As expected from the literary department. I just sent a message to my wife. We're going with Chihiro's idea.
Yay! As my prize, you have to treat me to lunch sometime, Yuto.
And so, in the middle of this fun time, something I could never have imagined back at Arishi Publishing, my phone rang. I looked at the screen and couldn't help but furrow my brow.
Is something wrong? Is it a call?
It's my old boss. I let out a small sigh and tapped the screen.
Yuto, stop being so stubborn and get back here now.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I'll even talk to the board and consider giving you a raise.
After that, Hananikake continued to throw out tempting offers, clearly desperate to get me back. I could sense the panic behind his calm facade. Unfortunately, I have no intention of coming back, so goodbye.
Hey, wait!
Chihiro peered at my face from beside me. Not wanting to worry her, I quickly apologized and returned to our conversation. A few more months passed, and I finally achieved a major goal I've been working towards. I managed to arrange for Teacher Surugudai's first work since winning the Aoki Prize to be published by Love Koi Publishing.
You did it, Yuto! You finally broke the cycle of him rotating between the big 6 publishers.
Well, I've known Teacher Surugudai for a long time. Now, if only we could get other authors to follow his lead. Chihiro and I have been visiting bookstores every day since the release date. In the world of novels, Love Koi Publishing is practically unknown. That's why we had to bow our heads to the bookstore staff and ask them to place the book in a slightly better spot.
I never knew that even the prominent shelves in bookstores were all prioritized for the big 6.
Bookstores benefit more from staying on the good side of companies that publish a lot of books. In a way, it can't be helped. Still, in this bookstore, even though it's Teacher Surugudai's new book, I can't even tell where they put it.
You're right. Should we ask a clerk?
But when Chihiro asked a clerk, the answer we got was horrifying. Apparently, salespeople from the Big 6 had recently been visiting one after another, giving guidance on book placement. The golden zone at eye level, the prominent flat display zones, and the end zones at the end of aisles. They have been pressured to prioritize books from the Big 6 in these 3 high-selling locations. But this is Teacher Surugadai's new work. It's a book that's guaranteed to be profitable for the store, isn't it? For the sake of the fans, couldn't you make an exception and place it somewhere easy to find?
I understand that completely. It's just that if we get on the bad side of the major publishers, it will cause problems for us down the line.
However, despite the major publishers' harassment that even involved the bookstores, Teacher Surugadai's new book became a massive hit. Gratefully, we even received an offer for a movie adaptation. Yes, thank you. I'll discuss the movie adaptation with the teacher and get back to you. In addition to adaptations for TV, movies, or games, an editor's job is also to be the point of contact for all corporate inquiries, like interview requests. I was screaming with joy as I threw myself into my work when it happened.
Yuto, if you're here, show yourself.
It's a small company, so there's no reception desk or security guard. Hananikake just brazenly walked right up to me. Showing up unannounced like this is a problem. What do you want?
What do I want? Why haven't you responded? You're coming back to us, aren't you?
I believe I told you I have absolutely no intention of returning.
Still holding a grudge, are we?
No, that's not it.
I'm the one asking you to come back. Me, the future head of the department at Arishi Publishing.
Why are you so desperate to bring back someone as incompetent as me?
That's because things have changed since then.
Hananikake gritted his teeth. It was obvious he was swallowing his pride.
That teacher Surugadai is saying he's gonna pull his publishing rights from us. Surprising, isn't it?
The moment I got the call from Hananikake asking me to come back, I suspected this was the reason. Well, that's between Teacher Surugadai and Arishi Publishing. It has nothing to do with me.
But that stubborn old man is saying that he owes his debut to you, that his works are essentially collaborations with you. And he says it's wrong for Arishi Publishing to keep profiting without you. Can you believe it?
By the way, publishing rights are held by the author, and a book can only be published when they grant permission to the publisher. So, if Teacher Surugadai pulls the rights for the novels he previously published with Arishi Publishing, it means Arishi Publishing will no longer be able to print more copies of his past works. Teacher, so you were serious? Actually, the teacher consulted me about this before, and I was against it. You can't live on sentiment alone. An author has to make a living. I told him so many times that if he was just thinking about sales of his back catalog, it would be better to leave the rights with a major publisher. But now that it's come to this, I have a duty to honor Teacher Surugadai's feelings. I never planned on going back, but now that I've heard about Teacher Surugadai's resolve, there's absolutely no way I can return.
What? Are you an idiot? Your salary, your title, your social standing would all improve.
There are people in this world who want to do meaningful work with people they connect with on a deeper level, not just for superficial things. I'm sure you'll never understand that. His pride as an elite was high, and he was an Arishi Publishing man through and through.
There's no way someone like you could get ahead in this company. You only went to K University.
It wasn't just me. He had violently crushed the budding careers of many young employees. But my departure had an impact on Arishi Publishing. When upper management pointed this out, the panicked current head of the literary department must have placed the blame squarely on his shoulders. If he didn't bring me back, his own position would be in jeopardy. It was obvious why he was so obsessed with me.
Yuto, we've reached an agreement with everyone regarding the publishing rights, and we even have their signatures.
Just then, Teacher Surugadai and 3 other novelists arrived at the office, led by Chihiro. Chihiro, a law school graduate, had a judicial scrivener friend of hers join them to explain the publishing rights once more. She made sure the authors fully understood and were comfortable with everything before they signed the contracts.
What is this? Not just Teacher Surugadai, but Teacher Sarugaku, Teacher Misaki, and Teacher Nishiki too.
They were all established authors I had been in charge of during my time at Arishi Publishing.
Hananikake, it's true that we are grateful for what Arishi Publishing has done for us. But before we are novelists, we are human beings. We want to continue creating good work with people who understand the constant struggle of a writer. We can't work with people who rest on their laurels just because they're a major publisher and have no respect for the creators.
Well, your sentiment is admirable, but realistically, there will be a huge difference in sales between Arishi Publishing and Lovekoi Publishing. You won't get prominent placement in bookstores, so it'll be hard to gain new fans. Are you okay with that?
Of course, we're prepared for that. but we will absolutely not let the publishing world continue with these corrupt practices. We sense that potential for change from Yuto and Chihiro. It's a gamble worth taking, isn't it?
Teacher!
Thank you. Whether he knew how moved I was or not, Hananikake let out a deliberately loud sigh.
Yeah, I see. You dreamers can just go on playing friends, talking about your ideals. You'll just suffer later when you hit the insurmountable wall of reality that separates you from the major players. Well then.
With that, Hananikake left the office, acting superior to the very end. But recently, several people have moved from Arishi Publishing to Love Koi Publishing. And now, for the first time, publishing rights have been transferred as well. Slowly but surely, something was starting to change. I was convinced of it. Now, for a little about what happened after. To put it simply, the publishing rights issue became a far bigger problem than Hananikake ever imagined. The 4 novelists who pulled their rights from Arishi Publishing had a combined total of 25 works. All of them were popular works that had been reprinted many times. Hananikake was held responsible by his elite superiors.
You told me I'd be the department head after the next promotion. This is a joke. Does HR not see all my past accomplishments?
Was his self-assessment really accurate, considering he spent all his time belittling promising juniors and crushing their careers? At a major company with plenty of talent, it was now surely impossible for Hananikake to ever climb the corporate ladder again. The 25 works were to be re-released under Love Koi Publishing. Chihiro and I were in charge. Many of the authors wanted to make some additions and corrections to reflect the changing times, so we were dismally busy.
Yuto, it's busy, but I'm so excited and happy. I never knew having work could be this wonderful.
It's good to be excited, but please watch your health and don't overdo it. Unlike some major company, you're irreplaceable here.
Speaking of personnel, we actually have a lot of volunteers wanting to help. That's your popularity for you, Yuto.
Huh? What do you mean? At the end of Chihiro's gaze stood Tetsuru Kanda and the rest of the academic department.
For the re-release of these 25 works, the academic department will be fully supporting the literary department.
Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful to you and your wife, Tetsuru, for giving me the chance to find this wonderful workplace.
You're just like my wife, Yuto. You changed jobs, found a great career, and also met someone special.
Someone special?
Yes, I've been watching you two work together, and you remind me of how we were back then.
Huh? Does that mean...
Hey! Tatsuru, what are you saying?
Chihiro's face instantly turned red. At the same time, the feelings that had been smoldering inside me suddenly erupted, filling my heart. Chihiro Suda, I'm sorry, we've only ever talked about work until now. From now on, maybe we could talk more, to get to know each other better, just a little at a time.
Yes, I'd love that.
I'll blow a hole through the corrupt practices of the publishing world. It was a grand declaration, but our journey is far from over. But with such reliable friends and a wonderful partner by my side, maybe it's just not a pipe dream after all. The new series you're in charge of. I heard you got 3rd place in the readers poll. That's amazing.
It's a manga artist that I've been working with since before I debuted. I feel more motivated for this new series than ever before.
Miss Higashiyama puffed up her chest proudly. I'm Yusei Kamaba, 30. I work for Elite Publishing's, largest of its kind in the industry. I'm an editor for the weekly manga series Young Elite that boasts the most publications in Japan.
Your series is celebrating 10 years, right? Congrats!
This is Akina Higashiyama. She works in the same department as me. We've been rivals since we started here. Thank you, but I took over from a predecessor, so it's not like I started it from scratch.
But it's not wrong to say that the series went viral after you took over. I need to work hard for my own long-term series.
I got to work hard alongside Miss Higashiyama and work with the mangas I love. I was happy. But there was one problem. This publishing company is over 100 years old, so the structure of the company was way too old. Unpaid overtime was the norm. Taking PTO meant hearing comments from your supervisors, and harassment wasn't uncommon.
Higashiyama, the idol that was supposed to be on the cover had a scandal. The photo shoot is off. Thanks to all of this, the editor-in-chief is furious. Go make some tea and try to make them happy. It's hard for us to do our jobs when that person is unhappy.
This is Taro Kusune. He was one of our 4 vice-in-chief. He was savvy and the higher-ups liked him, so he was successful, but anyone below him did not like him. Very old-fashioned.
Mr. Kusune, why do I have to do that?
What? Because you're a woman. There's only one woman in this editing department. This is your chance to take advantage of being a woman.
I refuse.
Miss Higashiyama refused to do what he said and returned to her desk.
Huh? What's this? It must be her to be so unfeminine.
Mr. Kusune, I've said this many times before, but I don't think you should talk like that in this day and age.
You're a man and you're saying that? What an annoying world we live in now. Listen, I'm saying this for her own good. Why is saying something to help someone considered harassment?
He should have received harassment training when he became vice chief editor. It's not about what we think, but about how the person interprets it. You should be careful.
Yes, sir. By the way, the editor-in-chief wants to pick one newer member to be vice editor-in-chief. If that happens, it'll probably be either you or Higashiyama. I'll vote for you, Komaba.
Thank you, but I hope you can look at skill set and make a fair decision.
Haha, you're so proper. You should kiss up a little in times like this.
Remember that. Mr. Kusune laughed and disappeared. The rumor spread throughout the department. Miss Higashiyama declared war against me.
I'm sure you've heard from people around you that I'm a ball of ambition.
Well, yeah, but I'm not gonna go easy.
Then it's a competition. I'm gonna get promoted next.
Miss Higashiyama was never fearful. She always came at me head on. It was refreshing. We didn't try to trip each other up. This relationship between us was nice. A few months later, the series that Miss Higashiyama was in charge of was increasing its fanbase and became a hit series. The first book sold unbelievable numbers. She was getting results.
Yusei Komaba, you've been promoted to Vice Editor-in-Chief. Congratulations!
Thank you. I also worked hard to make the series I was given a popular one. But these past 6 months, Miss Higashiyama did better than I did. What does this mean? Why was I chosen? I questioned it, so I asked Mr. Kusune in private.
What? Miss Higashiyama is a woman. That's why her promotion was pushed back. Isn't that obvious?
I couldn't believe my ears. I couldn't believe that such an outdated system still existed in this day and age.
We're lucky that we're men. You're lucky to get the position. Good luck, Vice EIC Komaba.
I didn't know if he was trying to be encouraging. He slapped my butt, but I didn't feel any pain. I had really wanted this promotion, but I couldn't be genuinely happy about it. I couldn't focus on my work either. A few days later, I was walking down the hall. I noticed Miss Higashiyama's voice in the break room. I stopped and listened. She was talking to another woman from another manga department.
I said I'd definitely get promoted and change this company, but I'm sorry. I couldn't keep my promise this time. You didn't have to promise. Thank you for thinking of me. The harassment counseling room exists, but isn't effective either. Miss Takabon, if anything happens, please let me know. Okay. As long as you're here, I can try my best. I see. Oh yeah, I was gonna give this to you. To me?
Even though she was having a hard time herself, she was worrying about the other women in the office. I clenched my fists. After a while, the other woman left the break room, so I went to talk to Miss Higashiyama.
Huh? Mr. Komaba? How long have you been there?
I'm sorry, I heard everything. Is she alright? Miss Higashiyama stared off with sadness in her eyes and sighed deeply.
The harassment counseling room hasn't changed. It's just on paper. It's so stupid. It's not funny at all.
When Miss Higashiyama first started, she was harassed at work and went to the counseling department to talk about it, but...
I decided not to think about it, so I'm fine.
At the time, I'd been hearing about the situation from her. I heard her say this and figured things were on the mend. But since then, I've witnessed her being a victim. She would help others and brush off her own experiences. So, after talking to the company, all that changed was the victims, not the perpetrators. Nothing was solved. You just decided to hold it in. Are you really okay?
I'm fine. I decided to fight back in my own ways. So don't worry about it. Work hard so you don't lose against me. That's what'll save me.
Her smile back then was so vibrant, I can still remember it clearly. Since then, I've battled with Miss Higashiyama as her rival.
The gender inequality was deeply rooted in this company. These roots found their way into the harassment counseling room that was supposed to be fair. I learned this back then, and decided to fight to change this company. You realized what I was fighting, but I didn't want to ask you, a man, for help. I believed that I could still make a difference, that I could change things. But no one can hear me if I yell from the bottom of the ladder. I have to have more power to make change.
People always said Miss Higashiyama was a ball of ambition. She had a quiet fire burning inside of her.
I don't like men who say because you're a woman. But you always fought with me on an even playing field.
To be honest, Mr. Kasune always asked me. Every time, I would analyze what Mr. Kasune told me and come to the conclusion that his way of thinking was wrong.
But I failed. I can't beat you, and maybe I can't do this.
After the first tears she had been holding back fell, she couldn't stop them.
Why? Just because I'm a woman?
I didn't beat you. I got promoted because this company is corrupt. I think people like you need to be properly evaluated.
You can say that, but this company won't change.
There's a way. Do you want to start a company with me?
What? What are you saying?
I'm serious. Not immediately. But do you want to start talking to each other as business partners? I noticed that the way this company runs is not right, but I didn't have as much fire in me as you do. That's why I was able to work here for as long, but it doesn't sit right with me either. I was surprised too, that I could decide to throw away this fortunate position of mine at this company. But ever since the promotion, there's been a dark fog in my heart. In an instant, it cleared. Since then, we talked a lot. The next year, the two of us quit at the same time. The new company we started was an agency for creators mainly focused on manga artists. We're starting with a rental space, but our workplaces are the publishing companies and the manga artist studio, so that's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay, the two of us are going to change the world that has been claimed by privileged people.
Manga artists didn't have coworkers. They were alone. Many of them didn't have experience in an office. Oftentimes, they didn't have the best social skills. I've seen a lot of publishing companies take advantage of that and force their power on young manga artists.
We take care of discussing the series and negotiating salaries. This allows manga artists to focus on their work. We protect them from the publishing company's impossible demands.
Some manga artists don't know about copyright laws, and such so, they would be ignored when it came time to turn their works into dramas. The licensing fee would be insanely cheap, and the scriptwriters would just change the story randomly. We have to change that. Protect all creators. That was her concept, and many people agreed with it. Many manga artists said they were waiting for a management company like this. Meanwhile, Vice Editor Kasune's complaints were echoing off the walls of Young Elite.
What? Another artist signed a deal with that company?
This is the 5th one. They have a good rep among the artists, so I think there will be more. Plus, when you join that agency, they're meticulous about events and turning stories into games and stuff.
I was over the moon that her agency was already doing what it set out to do.
Damn it! We've been able to trick these naive artists and do what we want. This is so annoying. Higashiyama, she's acting cocky. What is she doing starting a company? As a woman. Kamaba too. He just got promoted, but he left the company with a woman. He's crazy.
Things were slowly changing, but it seems like he hasn't. One thing Miss Higashiyama wanted was to discover new manga artists. Up until now, there were 2 options to debut. Enter a new artist contest run by a publisher, or bring your work in directly to an editor. We founded a manga artist school that anyone can attend.
We start online and then hold classes in the rental space. You'll have more opportunities if you were able to get an editor's advice beforehand, right?
Miss Higashiyama was right. Young manga artists came knocking the door down to have professional editors see their work. Any manga artists that were able to debut came to join our agency as repayment. Many people were struggling at home alone. These people said that they were glad to meet other people at the school with the same dream.
Teammates and rivals. Having these people around you is important. It can change the course of your life.
Miss Higashiyama looked at me and smiled happily. We have classes every day and more manga artists joined us. We need employees.
You're right. I just heard from the best person that they want to join. Come in.
It was the woman that had been talking to Miss Higashiyama about harassment that day in the break room, Miss Takaban.
Miss Higashiyama, Mr. Komaba, I'm looking forward to working with you too.
Miss Higashiyama was Karen. Even after she quit, she had been talking to her. We had a new reliable teammate. Things were looking good. But a dark cloud came over those days. One of the manga artists that started our school recently came to talk to us. Miss Higashiyama thought she might debut soon. It was Chiemi Ohashi, who mainly wrote rom-coms.
I thought it was in my head, but I feel sure after seeing this week's Young Elite.
She had brought her works to Young Elite many times and was always dropped. The ideas were stolen from her rejected work and used for the manga in Young Elite.
If this is true, I won't let them get away with it.
We couldn't just believe her. I knew Miss Higashiyama felt this way too. Well, we didn't want it to be true.
Let us help. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into your work. They can't treat your work like that.
This woman was trying to chase her dreams and suffering. She couldn't just leave it alone. I felt that too. Yes, if this is true, we will not allow it.
Thank you.
A few weeks later, Miss Ohashi brought a new story to Elite Publishings. She was waiting in the waiting area when Taro Kusune appeared.
You're so persistent. We won't accept just any woman manga artist. You need a lot of strength to keep up with the series.
I understand that. Would you like to take a look at my storyboard?
If you insist, let me see.
Mr. Kusune started looking at the storyboard with annoyance.
It's not bad, but it's missing something.
You say that every time. Can you tell me more specifically what is good and bad? The setting, plot, characters, dialogue. Does anything stand out? Is it all bad?
Mr. Kusune scratched his head and brought his face closer to hers.
If you show some loyalty, I might be able to tell you. How about it? Do you have a boyfriend?
Miss Ohashi glared at Mr. Kusune. She took her storyboard and left.
See? She's not ready to do anything. That's how these woman manga artists are.
As soon as he confirmed he was alone, Mr. Kusune called someone.
Oh, hello. I thought of a good character and setting. Yes. Use it for your current plot. Don't thank me. I'll do anything for you.
Mr. Kusune had memorized the idea that Miss Ohashi brought him. And he was relaying the info to a manga artist that he knows.
Okay, let me go back.
Mr. Kusune tried to leave the meeting room. Miss Higashiyama and I were there recording with our phones.
What? You two are former employees, but I don't think you should be in this office. Why are you recording?
Long time no see. We signed the visitor list. Chiemi Ohashi and 2 others.
We recorded your phone call earlier as well.
You two, you tricked me.
Trick sounds bad. We just wanted to protect the manga artists and their potential.
Will you tell us? Who were you on the phone with just now? We have an idea who it was, but...
I can't tell you that.
I see. We'll have to ask Mr. Gohongi directly. I don't think he knows the ideas were stolen.
He'll probably be surprised and furious. I already had it published, how could you?
Mr. Gohongi was a big-time manga artist at Young Elite. Mr. Kasune was sweating. I called on Miss Ohashi from outside the room. In her hands were all the storyboards she had brought in before and copies of Mr. Gohongi's work.
I've loved Young Elite since I was a kid. I can't believe this kind of theft would happen here.
Miss Ohashi glared at Mr. Kasune with resentment. She handed the papers to Miss Higashiyama and me. When we checked with Miss Ohashi, there were over 10 cases of stolen ideas.
What? You investigated?
Every time. 2 to 3 weeks after Miss Ohashi brings you a story, the idea is used in the series. Especially this character. This is definitely Miss Ohashi's original idea. You can't call this a coincidence. This character was modeled after an abandoned mutt that I found as a child. We don't know what kind of dog it is, and it has unique patterns, but it looks the same and has the same name.
Grr.
Mr. Kasune couldn't say anything after seeing the picture of the dog. He ran away.
This is bad. How can I tell Mr. Gohongi?
Mr. Kasune ran away into the editing department where outside people couldn't enter. But Miss Higashiyama and I thought this through. We had already made her move.
Mr. Kasune, do you have a moment?
What is it? I'm busy. Talk to me later.
But the board told me that you need to come right now.
Bored? Did they already find out? No way. There's still time. Damn it, that woman!
If the board wants to see you, you have to go. Mr. Kasune walked with cold sweat dripping down. He knocked hesitantly. We meet again.
What? Why are you here?
We had scheduled an appointment for Miss Ohashi to meet with Mr. Kasune. And we had set an appointment with the legal department right after. Miss Takabon was with us now.
Kasune, what have you done? Apologize to them right now.
Well, what's happening? I don't know what this is about.
Don't play dumb. Harassment based on outdated gender ideals. I have shivers down my spine.
What? I take care of my subordinates. I was rooting for your promotion, but the result was unfortunate.
Mr. Kasune desperately tried to cover his tracks in front of the board member. I almost said something, but this was about the woman.
I was always worried about Miss Takabon. I've known her since college. Even though she was in another department, you talked to her constantly. You even followed her home, didn't you?
Stop saying nonsense. Do you even have proof? What?
You know what this is about, and yet you ask for proof? You want the proof? I felt bad about leaving Miss Takabon when I quit. I kept in touch with her. Miss Takabon is kind, so you probably thought she couldn't do anything. But she asked me for help. She mustered the courage and took action. So I gave her this. I told her it would help bring you down.
It was a pen that could record things. Miss Higashiyama had asked her to gather evidence. Miss Takabon laid out pictures and logs of the voice recordings on the desk.
These are all lies. I'm being framed. Don't believe them.
Mr. Kasune tried to cling to the board member, but he looked like he had given up. We've already sent the evidence to your legal department through a lawyer. We're planning to sue.
Sue? Is it worth all that? I wanted Miss Takabon to survive in this male-dominated society.
Stop talking. Just hearing your voice is terrible.
You couldn't imagine these words coming from Miss Takabon's kind mouth. Mr. Kasune wilted. I had to tell him something. There was something nagging at my chest. Mr. Kasune, do you remember when I asked you why I was promoted instead of Miss Higashiyama?
What?
I hadn't told her about this. I held it all in. Because she's a woman. You said that, didn't you? I was painfully aware that that was how this company worked. But in this day and age, you'll only get left behind. Please admit it, Miss Higashiyama deserved that promotion more than I did. And that you can't destroy the dreams of these manga artists just because they're women. I had fought with and alongside Miss Higashiyama. I couldn't let it go that this was how that ended. The board member looked uncomfortable. I bet he was aware too. They didn't make eye contact with me and bowed their heads.
Kisune, you'll be punished later. Mr. Komaba, Miss Higashiyama, Miss Takaban, I'm sincerely sorry about all this. It is partially the company's fault. I will make sure he learns his lesson, so go easy on us.
This board member had a lot of pride and was very old-fashioned. I felt like I took down a big obstacle. Miss Higashiyama glared unforgivingly, but she smiled at me. Stealing ideas from manga artists and various counts of harassment. Mr. Kusune's wrongdoings were discovered by all the higher-ups. But Elite Publishing's was soft. They tried to send Mr. Kusune to a random department and leave it at that.
That was close. The company isn't brave enough to tell Mr. Gohongi about all this. Once this blows over, I'll be back in editing. I'm an important asset.
Their lawyer responded, "He's deeply regretful and he was transferred, so please be kind."
What? That's it? How corrupt are they? I'm glad I prepared something else.
Miss Higashiyama asked the lawyer to sue and contacted someone for the second part of her plan. That night, Elite Publishing's was on the news for all their shady business. Mr. Kusune's stuff was terrible, but the company was blamed for trying to hide it. It went viral. Elite Publishing's panicked and held a press conference.
Mr. Gohongi had no part in the recent events. All the responsibility falls on the current editors. We are deeply apologetic.
Mr. Kusune was fired for his many offenses. But the company's image was terrible. On top of that, Mr. Gohongi's series was cut because of the theft. People were furious.
What? Mr. Gohonji did nothing wrong.
The legal responsibility was all on Mr. Kusune. But his own work became a stolen one. Mr. Gohongi couldn't stand that. There was talks of the CEO resigning because of all this. Apparently, this CEO is the younger brother of the female CEO of Love Koi Publishings. What happened to this CEO? That's a story for another day.
Sir, please raise your head.
Mr. Gohongi was a victim, but he'd apologized to Miss Ohashi. Mr. Gohongi was a best-selling artist, so he quickly found another company to work with. He's moved on. Congrats on your series.
Thank you. It's thanks to you all that I was able to debut.
6 months since the scandal, Chiemi Ohashi's got her series.
Miss Ohashi, you've shined from the start. Have confidence and good luck.
Elite Publishings apologized to her for the theft and paid her as well. She exchanged contacts with Mr. Gohongi, and they go out for meals sometimes.
This is a long overdue, but thank you for letting me start this company with you. Thanks to you, I'm able to let my skills shine.
A few days later, Miss Higashiyama told me this. She looked a little nervous.
So, the rivals thing, I'm pretty over it. I mean, we're still a team, but... not. I want to be your girlfriend.
Okay.
What? Really? Wait, that was so casual.
It's not casual. I like you. I never said anything, but since we became rivals, I've been into her. I was waiting for her to have feelings for me too. She blushed when I told her this. She tried to change the way that women can exist. I'm sure the ripple effects are happening even now. Everyone has their own beliefs, their own ideal society. Sometimes we'll hit obstacles and trip, but I believe we are marching toward a brighter future.
With a past like that, I know it's not easy for you to trust someone. But I can't just let your talent go to waste. This is the final big gamble of my career. I swear I'll create the perfect environment for you.
I'm changing careers from a completely different field, but I'll do my absolute best. My colleagues watching my introduction all have bewildered looks on their faces. As autumn sets in, I, Junichi Hakozaki, have just started my mid-career job at Insho Publishing, the second largest company in the industry, right behind the top dog, Eito Publishing. I'm 28 years old and have been assigned to the weekly manga Shonen and Telly. Just a few days ago, I was working in a cafe wearing an apron. You never know where life will take you.
A graduate from N University? Isn't that a first for our company? How can he be so confident, if I may say so?
Maybe he has some connections? I heard he's a favorite of Executive Muro, the only female executive.
The reason my colleagues are whispering is simple. I graduated from what's considered a fifth-rate university. After all, Insho Publishing is a super elite group, with over 90% of its employees being graduates from T University, K University, or W University. I'm a former cafe worker with no outstanding academic background or industry experience. It's no wonder they find me strange. Everyone, I look forward to working with you. But that doesn't matter. I finished my self-introduction with my head held high, full of resolve for this new career.
So, you're Hakozaki. I'll be your trainer. Just because you have no experience as an editor doesn't mean I'll go easy on you.
Her name is Amane Kayaba. She's 1 year older than me, and has been with the Shonen and Telly editorial department for 7 years. And judging by the way everyone looks at her, she must be the office sweetheart. I have no intention of using my inexperience as an excuse. I look forward to working with you. The next day, my training with Kayaba began immediately. She's a T University graduate, but she treats me just like anyone else.
More than the job itself, it's important to get your body used to the unique weekly manga schedule. Storyboard checks on Monday, new series meetings on Tuesday, planning meetings on Wednesday, proofreading on Thursday, and meetings with artists on Friday. While doing all that, we also have to scout for new talent, promote the manga we're in charge of, and plan events.
And of course, researching reader needs and social trends is part of our daily work.
Exactly. It might be hectic at first, but once you get used to it, your mind and body will move on their own.
For a while, my days were spent studying as an assistant to Kayaba's artists. Thanks to Kayaba's precise guidance, I was able to get the hang of the job surprisingly quickly. I'm also grateful that most of the employees I interact with are friendly, despite being from top universities. But there's one man who glares at me with envy. Damn it, he's just a graduate from a third-rate university, yet he's getting all friendly with my Amane. He's Daiji Zonji, also a T University graduate in the Shonen and Telly editorial department, just like Kayaba. He's always watching me and making snide remarks whenever he gets the chance. Don't get too carried away, know your place, and make sure you don't cause any trouble for Amane. Huh? I'll take that to heart and do my best. The annoying part is that he's good at maintaining his public image, so he only says these things where only I can hear. Well, as long as I don't react, it won't sour the office atmosphere. I'll just ignore it. Huh, no need to rush. A man with no education and no guts to talk back, he's no match for me. I was just focusing on my work and not paying him any mind, while he smugly misinterpreted it as me not having the guts to talk back. An unexpected misunderstanding was brewing between us. 6 months after I joined, I was still doing assistant-like work for Kayaba. Then, one day, during lunch.
Hakozaki, we did it! The chief editor said it's okay for you to be in charge of a series.
Really? Thank you so much. The editor of the historical manga Bakamatsu, which had been running for about a year, was being transferred, and I was chosen as the new editor in charge. This is all thanks to your guidance, Kayaba. Thank you so much.
Getting thanked so sincerely, I'm not used to it. It's a bit embarrassing. Most of the male employees here are so proud, so your honesty is like a breath of fresh air.
Kayaba says that, but I'm sure she pushed for me to get this opportunity so quickly. I want to get results and live up to her expectations. From that day on, I immediately reread Bakumatsu from the first chapter and analyzed the reader surveys. I also found and read all the past works of the artist before meeting with the previous editor.
And to be honest, it's been at the bottom of the reader surveys since its third month. It could be cancelled at any time.
The previous editor said, biting her lip in frustration. Could you tell me everything you remember about the meetings with the artist during the planning stage?
Let's see. First, the reason we thought this would be a hit was...
I see. I can feel the passion you both had back then. I'll do my best to carry on that spirit. I crammed all the data I received into my head and headed into my first meeting with the artist. And then...
This is amazing, Hakozaki. Bakumatsu's popularity is soaring.
1 month after I took over, Bakumatsu made a comeback in just 4 chapters. I know, right? It feels so good to be appreciated by the readers.
It doesn't look like you changed the direction drastically. What did you ask the artist to do?
I reviewed everything from the meetings before the series started. There was nothing wrong with the original concept or direction. But there was a slight gap with what the readers wanted. I analyzed that and had him fill in the gap with new development and new characters.
How did you manage to convince the artist and steer them in the direction you wanted? I think asking an artist to change course without hurting their pride is the most difficult part of an editor's job.
Nothing special. I just explained it with all my sincerity so he would understand. Fortunately, the artist agreed right away, saying it was a great idea.
You make it sound easy, Hakozaki, but that's actually a very difficult thing to do. Especially in his case, it's easy for people to say, who does this inexperienced rookie think he is? You're amazing, Hakozaki.
In the end, Bakumatsu maintained its popularity and was even chosen for the cover and opening color pages.
The chief editor saw these results and wants to put you in charge of the next planning meeting, so he wants you to come up with a plan.
What? He's entrusting it to me?
Yes, the chief editor himself says so there's no mistake. Because that man...
For a manga that was once on the chopping block to be featured on the cover is unheard of. This is a tremendous achievement.
He was really impressed with the revival of Bakumatsu. You've probably become his new favorite. He might even come running at you with open arms one of these days.
No way. He's not a big dog.
That's a perfect description, isn't it? The chief editor does have a way of exploding with emotion using his whole body.
From that day on, Kayaba and I shared a secret understanding that the chief editor is like a big dog. The following week, I brought up an issue I'd been thinking about concerning the future of the manga industry. Once they achieve their long-awaited debut, they face a battle against the pressure of weekly deadlines. I believe that more and more manga artists will find it physically and mentally draining to keep up with this.
That's been a long-standing issue. How would you solve it, Hakozaki?
From now on, manga will be an era of specialization. It's more time efficient for a team to handle the art and the story separately. So, the editorial department would assess the skills of aspiring manga artists and have them form various teams. How about we regularly provide opportunities for them to co-create one-shot works?
So, you'd have them focus all their abilities on either art or story. That's interesting.
Thank you, sir. The chief editor had more faith in me than I expected, and my proposal plan was quickly adopted. By the way, he's also a man who has risen to the position of chief editor in this education-obsessed company. Of course, he's from a top university. Not everyone with a top education is closed-minded. I'm lucky to be working under him. The other employees in the meeting also praised my plan, saying it was something they couldn't have come up with.
The level of potential new series has clearly improved. The manga artists are highly motivated. It's all thanks to your ideas, Hakozaki. Thank you.
After carefully preparing the project, the aspiring manga artists were divided into teams and began creating one-shots. The result was a huge success. Of course, some artists initially resisted, wanting to do everything themselves, but once they experienced collaborative manga creation, they found new perspectives and many discoveries. It was praised as a great stimulus, and I want to do it again.
Alright, it's sudden, but let's all go out for a drink tonight.
And so, despite the last-minute invitation from the chief editor, many editors joined the drinking party.
Moving from a lonely struggle to collaborating with comrades gives them a sense of security. That certainly makes sense.
Yes, and at the same time, a sense of responsibility naturally develops, thinking, I can't be the one to hold the team back. By providing a better environment for aspiring manga artists, I believe the quality of their work will skyrocket. The senior editors all praised me, saying it wouldn't be long before a hit series emerged from one of the newly formed teams.
Hakozaki, I'm sorry. To be honest, when you first joined, I heard about your educational background and thought you wouldn't amount to much. But before I knew it, you brought a breath of fresh air to this department in so many ways. You're unstoppable. I'm truly impressed.
I agree. It taught me not to judge someone's ability just because they lack experience.
Wow, Hakozaki, you're amazing. First you revive an unpopular series, and now this. I have to admit, you've got real talent.
Thank you. Sir? Chief Editor, don't you think you've had a bit too much to drink? The chief editor pounced on me like a big dog. Just as we had talked about before, Kayaba and I exchanged a look and laughed. However, this man remained unchanged. Noticing the atmosphere between Kayaba and me, he spoke to her. You should be careful. Things are just going well for him by chance right now. Soon, his true colors will show. Even as Kayaba tilted her head in confusion, Jizonji's rant didn't stop. A poor education means he ran away from the tough battles of entrance exams in the past. A habit of running away doesn't change. I'm sure he'll eventually crack under the pressure of work and run away. I heard his last remark, but I pretended not to, and continued to entertain the chief editor. The seasons changed, and a year had passed since I joined the company, under an autumn sky dotted with cirrocumulus clouds. The 40th anniversary party for Shonen and Telly was being held in a hotel banquet hall. Right now, on stage, the chief editor's incredibly long speech is continuing.
Alright, all the necessary preparations are done. The chief editor's speech will probably end in about 3 minutes. In this precious free time we have, you must eat and drink what you like.
Huh? We're the organizers. I can manage without eating or drinking during the party.
No way! Since we've invited so many guests, we, the organizers, have to check the quality of the hotel's food and drinks first.
Doesn't that just mean you want to eat and drink as much as you can? And so, the chief editor's speech ended, and we moved on to social time. Many people, including photographers, designers, and talent agency representatives, came to greet Kayaba. That's a money for you, to have such a diverse network of contacts. As Kayaba politely greeted each person, she introduced me to everyone as a promising rookie, and at that moment...
Excuse me, are you Junichi Hakozaki?
Huh? Yes, I am. The person who approached me was a legendary manga artist I had only ever seen on TV. I was completely taken aback, as I had assumed he was going to talk to Kayaba. He is Teacher Yamatori, the author of the legendary manga Tiger Ball, which boasts the highest circulation in Shonen and Telly's history. I'm surprised. He had already announced his retirement, and his name wasn't on the guest list. Teacher Yamatori, it's an honor to meet you. I've been reading your work since I was a child, but why me?
The first editor for my manga was Executive Muro, the one who scouted you. She told me a lot about you, and it made me want to talk to you.
I see. I'm truly honored by your words.
You see, it's been a while since I announced my retirement, but I'm a manga artist at heart, and I still get the itch to draw. However, it's also true that I've exhausted all my ideas after the long run of Tiger Ball. So if you don't mind, would you be willing to handle the scenario for my comeback work?
I was so shocked I couldn't even reply. Kayaba, who was listening next to me, had her mouth wide open. I'm not sure I fully understand what you're saying. Me? Write the scenario?
Yes, I want to draw manga again, based on a scenario written by you. Would you be willing to put up with this old man's selfish request, even though I've already retired?
After that, all I could say was that I would consult my superiors and give him an answer as soon as possible. But Teacher Yamatori nodded in satisfaction and left the party early, despite being called out to by many people.
What's going on? Why would the legendary teacher Yamatori ask you to write a scenario for him?
Kayaba next to me looked like she was about to faint from shock, and for good reason. I hadn't told her everything about myself yet. I'm sorry for keeping this from you. The truth is, Kayaba had helped me more than anyone as my mentor. Trusting her, I took out my tablet and explained the situation.
This is...
Kayaba then completely ignored her duties as an organizer and, losing her appetite from earlier, focused intently on my tablet. Following Teacher Yamatori's offer, an emergency board meeting was held at Insho Publishing. As expected, it was quite contentious.
If an employee starts writing, it'll lack fairness to other manga artists. If he wants to write, he should quit the company.
This case is indeed unprecedented. However, it is also a great opportunity. Let's approve it.
An editor is like a construction manager at a construction site, not a carpenter. It's important to be in a position where you can remain objective to create a better book. Writing a scenario is out of the question. But these old-fashioned opposing opinions were drowned out by Executive Muro's persistence and the big news of Teacher Yamatori's return.
Congratulations on the collaboration with Teacher Yamatori. That's amazing.
You're incredible, Hakozaki. Even though your job description is changing, our goal of making Shonen Intelli a success is the same.
What's wrong with an employee becoming a creator? Hakozaki, you're our hope. Go for it.
The day after the board meeting, my debut as a scenario writer was officially decided, and everyone congratulated me. Why does a low-educated guy like him? And he's teaming up with Teacher Yamatori. Damn it. If he's allowed to do it, then I should be too. Only Jizonji glared at me with hostility amidst the celebratory mood. Afterward, I finished handing over Bakumatsu and began full-fledged meetings with Teacher Yamatori. And during a planning meeting I could no longer attend, a certain incident occurred. Chief Editor, please listen. I've brought a very special plan this time. Jizonji confidently handed out a new project proposal. Inside it was a scenario. In the artist section was the name of a talented pre-debut manga artist known for their serious style. And surprisingly, the name Dai Jizonji was written in the original scenario section.
Jizonji, what is this?
Since Hakozaki, a graduate from a third-rate university, was allowed to become a manga writer, it should be fair for other employees too, right? Editors are usually behind the scenes, but if there's a chance to step into the spotlight, there must be people who want to try.
That was a special case, with a direct request from Teacher Yamatori himself.
As long as you have the skill, it shouldn't be a problem. Would you please take a look?
With a small sigh as if to say, I have no choice, the chief editor flipped through the scenario. But his expression gradually changed, and he leaned forward with an impressed, "Oh."
Despite the unique world building, it has a great opening that pulls you in right away. You wrote this, Jizonji?
Thank you for the compliment. I would be happy if you would consider it at the next new series meeting.
When the chief editor looked around for the reactions of the other employees, everyone who had read the scenario was nodding slightly. Seeing this, Jizonji was certain of his success and smiled faintly. But
Wait a minute.
the one who broke the almost decided flow was Kayaba.
This scenario is complete plagiarism. We can't even consider it for the new series meeting.
A tense atmosphere filled the conference room following the abrupt accusation of plagiarism.
What proof do you have to say such a thing? That's rude.
Kayaba, is that true?
When the chief editor asked, Kayaba nodded slightly and showed her tablet to everyone.
Please, look at this. It's a novel website where anyone can post anonymously. It's from quite a while ago. Ah, here it is. A novel posted 11 years ago by a then high school sophomore.
She pinched out the opening of the novel, enlarging it so everyone could read.
You're right. It's almost identical. Who wrote that novel?
Well, of course. It's something I wrote a long time ago. How embarrassing.
Ignoring Jizonji's attempts to brush it off, Kayaba clicked on the profile section. There, it simply said ICHI, currently high school student.
ICHI? I've never heard of him. Is he an online novelist?
Yes, however, he changed his pen name after becoming an adult. His current pen name is Jun. He's an online novelist who writes a wide range of genres from adventure to romance. Jun's most famous work is Kimi no suimin no naka ni moguritai, commonly known as Kimisui.
What?
Kimisui! I know it! I've read it too!
So, he was active as ICHI since he was a high school student, and then he was reborn and restarted under the pen name June?
That's right. I heard from him that he started a new account from scratch at that time.
No way. I didn't know. I chose a work by a popular online novelist.
What Jizonji plagiarized was a somewhat buried work written before he made his big break with Kimisui. It's a wonderful story, but it wasn't popular, so you probably thought you could get away with it, right?
Grr.
The chief editor was once again comparing the online novel and Jizonji's scenario.
Kayaba, thank you for noticing. That was a close call. Were you a big fan of Jun or Ichi back then?
No, actually, I met him in person at the party the other day and just finished reading all of his works.
Wait a minute. You mean this online novelist was at the party? No way.
He was there. In fact, he's someone you all know very well.
Unable to comprehend Kayaba's cryptic words, Jizonji became flustered. Then, the chief editor let out a big sigh.
Jizonji, even though you didn't know, you plagiarized from a pretty incredible person.
The chief editor's gaze sharpened. No matter whose work it was, maliciously plagiarizing is unacceptable.
Don't you get it? Both Jun and Ichi are people we know very well.
A second-year high school student 11 years ago. That means he's 28 now. He's our colleague, Junichi Hakozaki.
What?
A gasp of astonishment erupted in the conference room. Yes, I have been writing novels since high school. After becoming an adult, some of my works published as June gained attention, but I turned down all offers for book or film adaptations. However, thanks to the persuasion of Executive Muro from In-Show Publishing, I finally decided to change careers, using my writing skills as my weapon.
So that's why Hakozaki has the ability to accurately grasp the public's needs and trends in manga.
Yes, it was only at the party that all the dots finally connected for me.
The conference room was filled with a mix of admiration for me and criticism for Jizonji. And then...
Jizonji, even though no actual harm was done, your act is an insult to all works and creators in this world. I will be issuing some form of punishment, so you are to stay home until then.
Hearing the word suspension, Jizonji looked down with a pained expression.
Wait, please, wait!
As the days grew shorter, the sky had already turned dark after work. As Kayaba was leaving the office, Jizonji called out to her.
You're still here? Hey, you should go home and start your suspension.
I know. There's no excuse for the plagiarism. I know that. Just listen to me. Why do you always take Hakozaki's side, even though you know how I feel about you?
I'm his mentor. It's my job to protect and nurture him. Besides, I believe I've already properly rejected you.
I didn't know, but apparently he has a crush on Kayaba and has been rejected multiple times. Because of those feelings, he grew to dislike me even more for being treated kindly and looked after by her. I admit he's a good writer, but in the end, he's just a graduate from a third-rate university. I'm better than him in every other aspect.
It's because of academic elitists and people with a strange sense of superiority like you, Jizonji, that this company has such a high turnover rate.
That's right. The turnover rate at Insho Publishing has been on the rise lately. People are leaving to go independent, even giving up their good salaries. Who cares about those guys who ran away from the company because they lack perseverance? So in your mind, going independent or changing jobs is just a form of escape, Jizonji?
Hakozaki, you were here?
Good evening, Kayaba. The chief editor called me, and I happened to overhear your conversation. Jizonji, I may be a man with no other talent than writing. The only other thing I can be proud of is that I've overcome difficult times and never stopped writing. It was when I was in my 3rd year of high school. Back then, when I was still writing as ICHI, I was approached by a publisher. They told me they'd give me a debut if I wrote a new work that wasn't posted online. Being young and naive back then, I was ecstatic. But I put my exam studies on the back burner and wrote the manuscript, only to be hit with a ridiculously high fee for self-publishing. I apologized to my parents and never paid the fee, but in reality, there are parents who pay thinking it's for their child's dreams. That's why these scams never disappear. It might be an excuse, but because of that, I didn't study enough for my exams, and only got into my backup university. That made me think about quitting writing, but strangely, just by living my life, I felt the urge to write something. Eventually, I started writing again after graduating from college while working at a cafe. That's when I changed my pen name. I studied entertainment and waited for someone who would evaluate me fairly this time, so I wouldn't be deceived again. And the one who found me was Executive Muro, who passionately convinced me. She visited the cafe many times to persuade me.
By the way, it was Executive Muro who recommended your work to Teacher Yamatori. Though, I don't think she actually expected him to make a comeback. If all the executives at our company were like Muro, we wouldn't have so many people leaving. Jizonji, as someone who graduated from the same university as you, let me say one last thing. It's foolish to let your life be controlled by your academic background. Whether you master academics or master another path, everyone just has a different direction for their efforts. This current situation is the result of all the effort Hakozaki has put in, the path he has walked. I doubt someone who would casually steal another person's work would understand that. So, I'm no longer interested in your affections. Goodbye.
Let's go, Kayaba said with a smile and started walking. The rejected Jizonji was left standing there stunned. A few months later, Teacher Yamatori's comeback series, Waterland, finally began serialization. It's set in a world after a cataclysm caused by human folly, like war, has submerged everything in the sea. It's a dark fantasy that questions what becomes the standard of human value when pushed into a crisis.
Next up on the news, the long-awaited return of that famous manga artist has finally happened with a new series.
It became a huge hit, with all kinds of media covering it, but there was a problem. The illegal act of leaking sample copies and posting them on video sites before the release date continued. Furthermore, Dai Jizonji, an employee of the publishing house, has been arrested for leaking the sample data to the uploaders. It was a game of cat and mouse, finding and requesting deletions, but this time, the company was determined. Led by Executive Muro, they gathered funds from 5 major publishing houses to form a powerful legal team.
They conducted a thorough investigation, identified the illegal uploaders, and successfully carried out a mass arrest.
Furthermore, Dai Jizonji, an employee of the publishing house, was also arrested for leaking the sample data to the uploaders. Unbelievably, Jizonji was the one who had been leaking the pre-release data. He was demoted to a dead-end department in charge of document storage after the plagiarism issue, essentially ending his career as an editor. His motive was apparently a grudge against me, and he wanted to drag me down in any way possible. I'm not wrong. This world is the one that's wrong for not understanding the value of a talented person like me. The company fired Jizonji as soon as they found out he was the source of the data leak.
Furthermore, they plan to file a civil lawsuit for a large amount of compensation to prevent copycat criminals from appearing in the future.
Several more months passed, and the spring arrived. The first volume of Waterland was released. To celebrate, Kayaba and I are having dinner together for the first time in a while.
Kayaba, thank you so much for your passionate and detailed guidance back then.
Kayaba, thank you so much for your passionate and detailed guidance back then. I rushed to reassure Kayaba, who had a lonely look in her eyes. To be honest, I was really anxious at first, but because you were there, I was able to tackle my work smoothly. The reason I am where I am today, with no academic background or experience as an editor, is because of you, Amane Kayaba.
If you had looked at me with prejudice like everyone else, I probably would have lost heart. Oh, don't just say you were helpful. I need you to be with me from now on. Will you go out with me?
Your academic background doesn't matter in life. I'll shut them up with my skills. It's easy to think that. But some people never even get the chance to demonstrate those skills. Such environments are all too common. That's why it's important to have people who understand you. I realized that once again. Even as the cherry blossoms fall, my passion, I will continue to bloom.
Next up is a follow-up scoop from the entertainment scandal magazine, Weekly Bronze. Regarding the affair scandal of the popular talent known as the CM Queen, an insider has finally broken their heavy silence. What will this person, said to be a parent figure to her, reveal? Let's watch the VTR.
Yes, this news program is covering our scoop too. That's a clean sweep of all the stations. Sales figures, website views, and paid memberships are sure to skyrocket. We spent over 5 months in stakeouts. It was a tough slog in the field, so I'm relieved it's become such a hot topic. I'm Takahiro Ikigami. I'm 29 years old, working as an editor for Weekly Bronze, an entertainment scandal magazine at Third Place Publishing, the industry's 3rd largest publisher. Originally, I joined hoping to edit manga. I got the assignment I wanted, but the manga magazine I was in charge of got cancelled. Disappointed, I was reassigned to the completely different world of Weekly Bronze. It's been almost 3 years since then.
Hey, Ikigami. Just because TV stations are picking up the story, don't get cocky over a scoop of that level. There just happened to be no other news today. If there were an election, an earthquake, or a major crime, they wouldn't even look at it. In short, you just got lucky. The quality of the article doesn't always correlate with how much buzz it gets.
I know that. I always pray nothing else happens on the days we release a scoop. That's Kakeru Abise, always picking a fight and being snide at every opportunity. He's an editor 2 years my senior in the same department.
By the way, I heard you're still going out on field reporting. Being on site is for freelancers. Are you trying to steal their jobs?
Steal? Of course not. I respect the freelancer's position, and I'm not getting in their way.
Even if you aren't interfering, if an editor goes on the scene, they might get too emotionally involved with the subject. We need to be able to objectively view the data, notes, recordings, photos, videos that come up from the field. In journalism, you can't let your pen get dull. This is why manga guys are...
I understand Ebise's point. Whether it's manga or entertainment, there's a saying that editors should view everything from a bird's eye view. But his work style is just lounging at his desk, barking orders to the field over the phone. It doesn't look like he's objectively viewing data. It looks like he's just moving game pieces around however he likes. Okay, I'll be more careful from now on.
Humph, as long as you understand. Make sure you learn from my work style in the future.
Saying that, Abise left the editorial department looking satisfied. Right now, the public isn't interested in celebrity scandals. In fact, they question the morality of exposing people's privacy. Maybe entertainment magazines aren't needed by the world anymore. But I don't want to go through a cancellation again. As long as the company entrusts me with this job, and as long as there's even one reader looking forward to it, I'll give it my all. Thankfully, the chief editor appreciates my hard work. At least enough to give me his stamp of approval as a candidate for the next deputy editor-in-chief, surpassing Abise, who's 2 years my senior. Then one day, the department was buzzing about 2 new mid-career hires joining us.
Abise, Ikigami, you two will be in charge of training the newbies. I'm counting on you.
With that, the chief editor handed Abise and me brief resumes of the 2 new hires. One is a man transferring from in-show publishing, the industry's number 2. He has weekly magazine experience and is considered an immediate asset. The other is a woman who only has experience as a reporter for online media. They're both 27 years old.
Training someone from in-show publishing will be tough for a manga guy like you, right, Ikigami? I'll take the talented one.
I don't mind either way. If you choose him, Abise, then I'll take charge of training her.
I see. Then let's go with that.
This is obviously a one-choice game for the guy. Coming from online media means I have to teach her from 1, or rather from 0. I don't have time for that.
Since Abise decided immediately, the assignments were settled without argument. I can see through his intentions, but I have no objection. 2 weeks after the assignments were decided, the day came for the 2 trained hires to be placed.
This young woman is Aya Kugahara. Want to say a few words?
I came from a competitor. Though I say competitor, it was online media. So I have a lot to learn. I'll do my best.
And this young man is Daisuke Chidori.
I was in charge of Weekly Silver and in-show publishing. I'll prove I can be an immediate asset. Nice to meet you.
Daisuke, brimming with confidence, and Aya, nervous and flustered. It was a meeting of 2 opposites. Well, his experience at Weekly Silver wasn't just for show. Daisuke immediately landed a celebrity romance scoop with his own lead.
The freshness of the lead was good. He got photos quickly, and his manuscript was fast. This is amazing.
Thank you very much. I expect nothing less of myself.
Even when people say scandal mags aren't needed, that's exactly why we can't stop. Whether we continue or fold isn't for the public to decide. It's up to our management. As long as they say do it, we do it.
Yes, sir.
While Daisuke puffs out his chest, for some reason, Abise next to him looks even prouder.
Chief, isn't Daisuke amazing? But properly adapting Daisuke's ability to the weekly bronze style. That process is crucial, and that's exactly where my skills as a trainer shine.
Well, there is some truth to that. Daisuke, don't let your guard down and listen well to what Abise says.
Yes, I will.
On the other hand, seeing the chief editor pleased with Daisuke's success, Aya had a look of panic on her face.
I'm sorry. I haven't been able to turn my leads into an article yet.
Didn't I tell you at the start? Sure, Daisuke is an immediate asset, but you don't need to worry. You'll catch up within 6 months, Aya, and overtake him within a year. That's what I believe.
Thank you. But I didn't realize there was such a difference between publishing and online media.
Aya is losing confidence, but her writing is fast and good. She just overwhelmingly lacked field experience. Online media rarely involves doing your own reporting. The main job is aggregating and summarizing articles from other media. You can do that from home. That's why online media is sometimes mocked as armchair journalism. It's okay. I'll cooperate and make sure you become a splendid editor. Aya, so don't worry.
Ikigami.
Hey, if reassurance made people capable of doing their jobs, nobody would struggle, right, Daisuke?
That's true. I never thought there'd be such a gap between contemporaries right off the bat.
After currying favor with the chief editor, Abise and Daisuke came over to us. Aya showed her frustration but looked down, unable to find words to retort. What do you want? We're heading out of the field now.
The field again? Ikigami, I've told you a million times. A bird's eye view is important for editors.
Of course, I know that. But having that perspective is only possible once you understand the field. Well then, we don't have time. Let's go. I try to leave the editorial department, shielding Aya. Daisuke's voice reached her backs.
It's boring without a rival, so do your best, Aya.
Aya didn't look back, but glared straight ahead as if her panic from moments ago was a lie. Walking toward the site after leaving the office, I talked to Aya about the importance of experiencing reporting. I'm not an old-school detective, but visit the scene 100 times. That's the shortcut to becoming a great editor.
In the case of weekly magazines, I misunderstood and thought field work was entirely for contracted freelance reporters and photographers.
Of course, it's basically their job. But if you don't experience the field yourself, you can't give proper instructions. Field work is tough. Wouldn't you be pissed off if an editor who knows nothing about the field gave you vague instructions despite that? To prevent that, experience every kind of site. It's similar to the relationship between a carpenter and a construction manager at a building site. First, the basics of basics, a press conference.
I'm Aya Kugahara from Weekly Bronze. I'd like to ask a question on behalf of the magazine.
Next is a direct interview without an appointment.
Sorry to bother you suddenly. Weekly Bronze here. Can we have a moment?
Finally, a stakeout. I spent days having Aya experience every possible reporting scene. From the outside, it might have looked like I was dragging a rookie around aimlessly. Ultimately, an editor's job is at a desk. But knowing the field or not is the turning point for whether you can do the job or not. This is one thing I'm sure of.
I'm starting to grasp something. Reporting is tough but fun. Rewarding but difficult. I need to properly control these messy emotions. This mix of good and bad, joy and sorrow. So an editor who can understand the situation without being on site needs to give calm instructions.
I'm glad you understand. You really worked hard up until now.
It's all thanks to you, Ikigami. Thank you so much.
Triggered by this day, Aya started gathering support from freelancers, and her reporting began to run smoothly. The effect immediately appeared in the form of a published scoop.
Ikigami, look! The article I was in charge of got the lead color pages for the first time!
Overwhelmed with joy, Aya hugged me without caring who was watching. Wait, Aya! Knowing her earnest efforts up to this point, the other editorial staff members all congratulated Aya. Thanks to 100 field visits, Aya grew rapidly and landed her first scoop, but Daisuke wasn't losing either. He continued to handle many articles every week, actively working as a core member of Weekly Bronze.
How about it, Chief? Please evaluate my ability as a trainer for raising Daisuke up.
Right. Since Daisuke is performing this well, there must have been considerable hidden effort on your part, Abise.
Exactly. You get it.
So, you can take a break from being a trainer. Starting this week, I want you to focus on creating your own articles, Abise.
Huh?
How many weeks do you think it's been since you had your own assigned article? Being a trainer doesn't exempt you from that. For the record, Ikigami has been writing his own every week while training Aya. Try to learn a little from him.
Yes.
Under those circumstances, as soon as Abise started focusing on his own articles, a strange change occurred in the department. As soon as Abise started firing off scoops, Daisuke, who had been producing results smoothly until then, fell into a massive slump.
Why? Why?
To prevent information leaks, we can't know what leads other teams are chasing, even in the same department. But I could sense that he was in trouble, unable to get photos for romance leads that should have been a sure thing.
I'm on fire, just what you'd expect from me.
Probably, the cause is the pressure to get better leads than Abise, who is in the same team and in top form. But everyone has slumps, This is something only he can overcome himself.
Abase, come here a sec.
Coming.
Since we're on different teams, I can only watch. I stared at him intently. Even after that, for about a month, there was no sign of Daisuke recovering. One day, when I returned to the editorial department after reporting, Daisuke was negotiating directly with the chief editor in a harsh tone. Next to the frowning chief editor stood Abase, looking pale. What happened?
I don't know the details, but it looks like he's asking to change his trainer from Abise to you, Ikigame.
Huh? Actually, Daisuke had been skeptical of Abase shortly after being assigned. The reasons go without saying. His attitude toward me and his arrogant posture, which he didn't even hide from the chief editor. It was fine as long as he was getting results, so Daisuke faked smiles to get along, but falling into a slump took away that leeway.
Look at my lead this week. That handsome comedian's 5-timing affair. Amazing response, right? That comedian got cocky just because he's a little popular. No wonder women hate him.
Right.
Abase, despite being the trainer, didn't even consider Daisuke who was in a slump, and just boasted about himself.
If I got serious without the Shaco being a trainer, I could have always done this much. It might be tough, but I hope you can overcome your wall and climb up to my level soon, Daisuke.
Therefore, I cannot follow Abase any longer. I request a change of trainer.
If I hurt you, I apologize. I thought you were okay because you're talented, Daisuke. So, hey, let's reconsider.
No, I refuse. I want to learn from Ikigami.
Alright.
Chief?
Regarding that, I want to ask one thing. Ikigami is already assigned as Aya's trainer. Considering his capacity, training 2 people at once will be difficult. You must realize that, so why Ikigami?
Before anyone knew it, the department had fallen silent. In the midst of that, he answered quietly.
Because he is an amazing person worthy of respect. About 2 weeks falling into my slump, Aya spoke to me after work.
Daisuke, are you okay?
What, did you come to mock me? Since you're in top form right now.
Well, honestly, I don't really care about you, and I think you're kind of unpleasant. But Ikigame told me to try talking to you.
Huh?
He said if he interferes, Abise might get worse, and it might be easier for you to speak your mind to me. Ikigame said this. Daisuke hates Abise, doesn't he?
What?
That reaction hit the bullseye, huh?
How?
I don't know that much, but he said that's why he's worried about you. He said before you could brush it off, but in a slump you probably don't have that leeway. Well, even from my perspective, Abise's attitude is terrible.
I pride myself on being street smart. So first, I was surprised by his observational skills. To begin with, I was also curious why Aya suddenly started improving. I knew it was thanks to Ikigami's training, so I took this opportunity to ask. Then Aya said this. Visit the scene 100 times. A sharp observational eye that notices even the subtleties of human emotion, and a gritty but grounded way of thinking. And above all, the greatness of character to worry about and care for a disagreeable rookie from another team. Those are the reasons I wish to beg for Ikigami's teachings.
His words echo through the silent apartment. Then, a few seconds later, everyone erupted in cheers and started clapping.
I see. I understand the reason. Ikigami,
Yes.
if there's such a solid reason, I want to entrust Daisuke to you. Taking on 2 rookies is unprecedented, but can you do it?
Aya is just starting to stand on her own, so I can do it.
Well, wait a minute, then what about me?
Obviously. I told you, didn't I? If you're a trainer, you need to look out for Daisuke, especially now that he's struggling.
Ugh.
But you just gave lip service, didn't listen, neglected following up on Daisuke, and only chased your own numbers.
That's...
And I didn't warn you just once. Since Daisuke entered his slump, I've warned you 3 times already. 1 month. I thought I'd wait and see for 1 month, but... Far from neglecting him, you got cocky, bragged about yourself, and put pressure on him. Mocking Ikigami shows a lack of character. But even if I can see 10,000 steps, if you're gonna mock him, at least become way more talented than Ikigami first.
Eek.
The chief editor's angry roar echoed through the office, which is cluttered and shouldn't echo.
Either way, if things didn't look good after a month, I plan to remove you. No matter how good your numbers are, with character that twisted, don't expect a promotion anytime soon.
No way.
Well, truly talented people don't mock others anyway.
Muttering that in disgust, the chief editor looked at me with powerful eyes.
Alright, Ikigami, I'm counting on you for Daisuke.
Yes, understood. Daisuke bowed, saying please take care of me. And so, the issue with Daisuke headed toward a resolution.
I apologize for my unpleasant attitude until now.
The first thing he did after transferring to my team was apologize to Aya. He wasn't like that to me or the other seniors and bosses, but his attitude was bad only toward his contemporary, Aya. He seemed to be aware of it himself.
Honestly, it really pissed me off. So I'll forgive you with 1 slap.
Hey. Thus began my days of being in charge of both Aya and Daisuke as a trainer.
This week, I have 2 assigned articles totaling 6 pages. How about you, Daisuke?
Not good enough. I have 2 as well, but 1 is a feature, so it's 8 pages. I win this week.
Damn it! I have a special scoop lined up, so I definitely won't lose next week.
But since they are both practically independent, it's not much of a burden. Daisuke broke out of his slump, and far from being a burden, I'm enjoying watching the 2 of them compete as rivals now. However, Abise is completely dissatisfied with this situation. From the day he was removed as Daisuke's trainer, for some reason, he suddenly couldn't secure new leads. Several weeks passed without him handling a single article, and he was losing his place in the editorial department.
Damn it! Why am I being treated like this? I absolutely won't let this end here.
Then one day, Abise was meeting someone in a private room at a high-end Japanese restaurant.
What is it? Saying you have something to discuss so suddenly.
The person who appeared in the private room was a female executive from the major entertainment agency, Tsukipura Promotion.
I'll get straight to the point. From now on, when a Weekly Bronze plans a stakeout on your agency's talents, I intend to inform you in advance.
What? While that has benefits for us, doesn't it only have downsides for Weekly Bronze?
That's why, as a condition for promising advance tips, you must give me a romance lead on another agency every month. You can protect your talent, we get fresh leads. It's a win-win for both of us, isn't it?
Yes, there was a trick to why Abise continued to produce results. He was making these corrupt contracts.
With all due respect, if it were editorial policy, that would be one thing, but relying on your individual discretion, Abise, how much can I trust this?
Are you sure you want to be saying that? There are already agencies that have contracted with me personally. And I can't contract with every agency either. If you don't hurry, you won't be able to protect your talents.
By the way, which agencies have already signed?
Well, this is highly confidential, but I'll tell only you, Tsukipuro. It's Kuzukuzu Company.
At that moment, the door to the private room opened.
Why is the chief editor here?
The person who entered was none other than the chief editor.
Thank you for keeping the line open.
After thanking her, the chief editor turned to face Abise. So you were connected with Kuzukuzu Company behind the scenes after all.
Gah!
If information flows beforehand, there's no way Daisuke's stakeouts would succeed. No wonder he suddenly fell into a slump, right? Leaking to agencies and getting other leads as bargaining chips. There have always been seniors stealing juniors' leads, but wow, you really thought this through.
No.
This way, even if you steal a lead, you won't get caught, right? And you get a new lead yourself. You know, I personally suspected for a long time that you were doing something. It didn't look like you were stealing leads from others, and there was no evidence, but my sixth sense told me. that this guy has some ulterior motive. That's when Daisuke, who had been doing well, suddenly hit a slump the moment you started writing articles. It could have been the pressure of you landing scoop after scoop, or the usual slump where we just can't get the shot. But to me, already suspicious, it was just too fishy. So, I decided to make a little move. I asked every agency where I have influence to let me know if you approached them with a deal. You didn't show your tail easily, so it took longer than expected, but you finally showed it. Thanks. Were you panicked because you were branded as a trainer and couldn't get promoted? To think you'd propose a deal to such a big shot.
Abase was so terrified he couldn't speak properly. Smiling gently at him, the chief editor began to speak in a kind voice.
Or perhaps... Did you think you wouldn't get caught again? By me, the incompetent chief editor who never noticed until now, huh?
Eek.
Yeah, I am incompetent. It makes me sick that I couldn't realize it until it got to this point. Choosing you as a trainer just because there was no one else was the worst mistake too. Who's the most pitiful one here? It's Daisuke, who joined us only to suffer hardships he didn't deserve. I feel terrible for him, so I'm gonna do it. Even if my own job is on the line, I will thoroughly expose your evil deeds.
Saying that, the chief editor stood up while still gripping Abase's collar. Then he turned to the executive of Tsukipuro Promotion and bowed deeply.
I am truly sorry for what our employee has done.
No, it's fine. It was a request from you after all. In exchange, please ensure you don't stake us out for the next year, as promised.
Yes, I understand. Thank you for your cooperation.
Abase, whose body was trembling from the chief editor's terror, couldn't struggle anymore. He was dragged all the way back to the company by the silent chief editor, wetting himself along the way. Now, as for Kakeru Abase upon arriving at the company,
I was connected with 3 managers from Kuzukuzu Company, and 2 from Itsuka Tosan to show production. Also, 2 managers from Hofukuga Kawaii to show Kogyo. The ones I've dealt with so far are...
Succumbing to the chief editor's pressure, he confessed all the people he was connected with, and all his past deeds. The chief editor recorded this, and immediately reported to the higher-ups. Abase was suspended pending fact confirmation. As a result of the internal investigation, evidence was found, and his misconduct was confirmed. When given a final chance to explain himself, he honestly admitted everything, and was given a disciplinary dismissal.
Fired, huh?
It was a future he knew would come if evidence was found. While many try to be clever and resign voluntarily before that happens, he didn't choose that. The reason is...
If you try to resign voluntarily, the people who were victimized without knowing, they won't be able to rest in peace. If you do that, I'll quit too, and chase you to the ends of the earth.
Yes.
Because the chief editor threatened him like that after the suspension was decided and everyone dispersed. Actually, the chief editor is a talented person who took his current position at the youngest age in the company's history. When he says he'll do something, he goes all the way. Thus, Kakeru Abase disappeared from this industry. By the way, the managers from the other companies who were connected with him also received punishments. It seems there were deals made among the upper management regarding this. I wonder if it was really okay for it to not go public. We were just company dogs after all. As people handling scoops, it was frustrating that we had no choice but to follow the company if they chose self-preservation. Behind the scenes, the chief editor was actually making moves vigilantly, but that's a story for another time.
However, lately, the argument that celebrities should also be allowed privacy is getting stronger, isn't it? Like, leave them alone if it's not a crime, even if it's romance or an affair. Or asking what's the point of weekly magazines. Aren't we unnecessary?
As for us, we successfully finished the 6-month training period stipulated by the company, and today, the 3 of us are drinking at an izakaya. I didn't have anything to teach them in the last 2 months, but these two dutiful people threw a thank you party for me. It's entertainment, so only those interested should watch, and those who find it unpleasant don't have to look. Why does the culture of weekly magazines and their very existence have to be denied? It's sad. We were having such trivial conversation while drinking, but for some reason, Daisuke looked awkward. Is something wrong?
No. Thanks to the 100 field visits you taught me, Ikigami, I'm truly grateful that I can get even more scoops now. But actually, because I walked around everywhere every day for field reporting training, I accidentally took a picture like this.
Daisuke, biting his lower lip in distress, showed me a single photo saved on his smartphone. There, walking happily hand in hand on a night street, was a picture of me and Aya. This is bad. Right of likeness? Privacy? Aren't we infringing on one of those?
Well, when was this? I was drunk and don't remember much, but for now I think I'll buy that photo.
Why don't you just admit it? Why are the people taking the photos reacting exactly like the people being taken? Haha.
Ultimately, celebrities are humans, and the media are humans too. We get drunk, and sometimes we fall into unexpected love. I realize once again the importance of living honestly without secrets.
Fighting societal issues like politics and economics with sharp dissertations and detailed reporting. I wanted to be a journalist like that. But only a handful of people can make a living by being a journalist in Japan. The best course of action is to work at a publishing company and strengthen my writing skills. I studied hard and went to a college that was good for journalism. After graduating, I was able to get a job at Elito Publishing. However,
For our next story, repeated reports of intellectual property theft by an employee at the major publishing company, Elito Publishing. As a result, a popular manga creator's series has been terminated, and Elito Publishing has received a barrage of complaints. Manga fans have been calling for the resignation of President Shin Minoho and several other board members. These protests have gotten increasingly aggressive. The official website servers have been down. It is currently unavailable.
the intellectual property theft problem that occurred in the editing department at Weekly Young Elite went viral. The company was in a lot of hot water. My name is Tetsuya Iwamoto, 32. I work in the non-fiction editing department at Elito Publishing. There are a lot of them today, too. When I looked down from the window, I saw another protest happening. They called for the replacement of upper management and boycotted the purchase of our products until then. Many media outlets were there to report on the protests. It was chaos every day here. Elito was founded over 100 years ago. We were the largest publisher in Japan and mainly focused on mangas. To that end, we were received well, but the working conditions were nothing to be proud of, and it was true that the culture was still very old-fashioned. As a union member, I spoke out about bettering the working conditions, but it never felt like it would get better. Maybe it's better that management changes because of this. The company was the main sponsor for the upcoming Winter Olympics. We were trying to improve our image by putting popular athletes on our covers, but it was ineffective, and our sales were only going down. What? Looking for volunteers for early retirement? A few days later, there was a shocking announcement at our unstable company. On the bulletin board in the employee clock-in area, this sign was put up. I can't believe management is going to stay where they are, and we're the ones getting cut. This meant we were getting laid off. Many of us stood in shock in front of the bulletin. Since they were looking for people to resign, some people were chosen for it. I thought I was safe because I was in my early 30s. You've been called in, so you know what that means, right? Is it because I lack the skills? Or is it because I have a record of unionizing? I'm sorry, but I can't answer your questions. The company is looking for people to resign. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't make me say any more. Oh, he wants me to read in between the lines. He spoke vaguely, but you knew exactly what he wanted to say. It was sneaky and uncomfortable. I see. I understand. I'll be off. I stepped out into the hallway and ran into my kohai, who works in editing for Weekly Shoujo Elite.
Oh, Mr. Iwamoto, what's wrong? You're coming out of the HR office.
Well, they announced that thing and I was called in, so you get it, right?
What? Seriously?
After a moment of surprise, she put on a nasty grin. It was Io Chitome. She used to work in nonfiction, and I'd trained her, but she wasn't motivated at all and only gave me headaches.
Phew, that was close. I'm so glad I requested a transfer to the manga editing department. Nowadays, nonfiction doesn't sell, and you won't make a cent trying to be a journalist.
Io had kept asking for a transfer and abandoned her work for several months before. Shouldn't she be laid off? Say what you want. Why are you here?
Huh? Don't put me in the same boat. I have some business with the photo department, so I'm just passing by. You should have transferred sooner, too. Publishers get 80% of their profits from mangas these days. If you'd thrown away your weird obsession and became a manga editor, you could have been saved. Congrats on the layoff.
Io cackled and left. I was furious. How could something so unfair be allowed? The little attachment I had left for this company was gone now. I started my resignation process sooner than anyone else there. Sir, hear me out. That company is desecrating journalism. I can't believe them. I had resigned from Alito. That night, I went to my regular bar.
Being a journalist was your dream, right? It's sad that only mangas can make money in this world.
Print media can be used to learn, and it can be entertainment. I loved the versatility, and that's why I started working in publishing. One day, educational writing became something that publishers were trying to keep, knowing that it would put them in the red.
But even if you can't see a future in it, you're going to find a job in publishing, aren't you?
Yes, you can say I'm old-fashioned, but I have my dream. The bar owner smiled happily.
All I can do is provide good drinks and listen to your complaints, but I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. I'll take another highball. I drank the bar owner's delicious creation and looked at job sites on my phone. The doorbell rang.
Welcome.
Hello. I'm sorry it's been a while.
Miss Kaji, long time no see. Have a seat here.
A woman came in alone and sat next to me.
Oh yeah, Mr. Iwamoto. Maybe this meeting is some kind of fate. Let me introduce you. This is Yuzuna Kaji from Love Koi Publishing. She's my daughter's boss. She takes real good care of my daughter.
What? Your daughter works for a publishing company?
Yeah, Miss Kaji is the young department head of their non-fiction editing department.
Nice to meet you. I'm Tetsuya Iwamoto. I just quit my job at Alito Publishing and now I'm looking for a job.
Nice to meet you. I'm Yuzuna Kaji. You must be very good if you were working for Alito.
Thank you. As it has been reported in the news, that company was terrible. I was honestly exhausted.
I've heard. The bar owner's daughter, Konomi Kanda, also used to work at Alito, so I've heard about the situation.
Huh? Konomi Kanda? Do you mean Miss Jinbo? The one that quit our company around 3 years ago?
Yes, she's also working in nonfiction. She just got back from maternity leave and she's still working shortened hours.
It's my first grandkid, so I feel like I have to work extra hard.
I see. Everyone's working hard. I have to find another job soon. Thanks to the bar owner, the vibes were good, and Miss Kaji and I were able to break the ice. Miss Kaji had a cocktail glass in hand. She looked at me with her sparkling eyes.
How about my place?
Huh? Your place? I gulped. Miss Kaji looks so seductive. And she's inviting me over.
You want to do nonfiction, right? We'd love to have you.
Oh, that's what you meant?
That?
Nothing. I'd love to. I accepted her offer instinctively. Miss Kaji looked surprised. Lovekoi Publishing was a growing company. I heard it was a great place to work too. I know people there. More than anything, I wanted to write under her. Miss Kaji was so charismatic. That's how I felt.
We're always recruiting new people. I'll be looking forward to your application.
Okay, thank you. It was the light at the end of the tunnel. I was able to see my goals sooner than I thought. A month later, I got through interviews and was at my first day at Lovekoi.
Everyone pay attention. I'm going to introduce the new hires.
I'm Tetsuya Iwamoto. Nice to meet you. There were only 4 people including me in the nonfiction department. One of them was Konomi Kanda.
Mr. Iwamoto, it's been a while. I'm glad someone capable like you is here. Let's do this.
It feels good to know someone from my last job. Teach me everything. I finished greeting everyone and immediately showed Miss Kaji my writing plans from the past month.
Wow, all of it is interesting. I thought you were good at serious stories like crime investigations and such, but...
I'm good at humorous things as well. This book was the one with the best sales when I was working at Alito Publishing. I showed Miss Kaji the book we had published before.
Let's see. Was the Giants versus Tigers match actually legendary? What does this mean?
The Giants have won 43 times and the Tigers have won 7. There's a huge gap, so I don't really think they're rivals.
No! You know I'm a huge Tigers fan and you punish me.
I'm sorry. I had no idea. I'm happy to see this unexpected side of Miss Kaji. Was that inappropriate to think after making her angry?
Huh? Why are you staring? Oh, listen up. Next time we drink at that bar, you're gonna listen to my Tigers stories.
Yes, ma'am. I was happy to see different sides of Miss Kaji. Work was going well. One day, Konomi came to me with something.
So, I've been secretly writing this outside of my work.
She showed me her tablet. The temporary title was, "The Weakest Dogs Are the Ones That Bark." What is this about?
It's actually an exposé about the working environment at Alito Publishing and the employees' thoughts on it all.
It's quite a bold endeavor. You're going to need Miss Kaji's and the President's permission, aren't you? I learned this in the interviews, but President Ogawa was the older sister to President Shin Minoho from Alito.
I got permission, but I don't have enough testimonials yet. I wanted to hear about your experience.
I see. I have a lot of feelings about that place, but I don't have time right now. Is later okay?
Of course. Thank you.
I watched Konomi leave and called Miss Kaji immediately. As someone who knows the current situation, Alito will not survive if that article goes out. Is that okay? I asked Miss Kaji to contact President Ogawa and mediate. President Ogawa suggested the 3 of us go out for a meal and reserved a room at a Japanese restaurant. This would never happen at Alito Publishing. I was reminded of how good Lovekoi was.
Not only is it fine, I told Miss Kanda to keep going. If that company goes down, it goes down.
President Ogawa sighed. She started talking nostalgically.
The Minaho family is an old, well-known family. There are a lot of rules and customs that are hard to understand. The worst was the gender discrimination. I was the eldest daughter, but I was treated terrible. My little brother Shin was coddled. He was set to take over the company. But we were a publishing family, so our house was filled with writing. Before I knew it, I was a bookworm.
So you founded Lovekoi Publishing?
When my father passed away, my brother asked me, but I'd rather die, so I declined. I don't resent them, but when I hear bad things about that company, I can't stand it. Iwamoto, you want to be a journalist, right? If you know something, you can't keep it a secret. If you have a sense of justice, help Miss Kanda out with her report.
I nodded. Miss Kaji looked at me with kind eyes. I was inspired by their words. The next day, I told Konomi everything. Miss Kanda gulped and looked shocked, but she had made up her mind too.
Mr. Iwamoto, let's make a bestseller.
Of course. Isn't it almost time to pick up your kid? You can leave the rest to me.
Thank you. I can revise at home, so let me know whenever.
The words that might hold the fate of Alito Publishing. The day they would be out in the world was coming closer. A while later, the Winter Olympics began. Ski jump, curling, figure skating, Japan was making its mark.
Japan has gotten their first gold medal in the women's halfpipe for snowboarding.
The female snowboarder that Alito Publishing had done solo cover shoots for had won a gold medal. The Olympics were a hit, but the main sponsor, Alito Publishing, couldn't recover their sales. The people were rooting for the athletes, but that didn't mean they were rooting for Alito. Alito was drowning. Meanwhile, Insho Publishing, second biggest in the industry, was holding an emergency meeting.
Nice to meet you all. I am the president of Lovekoi, Ogawa.
Our president Ogawa was there. Behind the scenes of the Global Winter Olympics, a storm was brewing in the publishing world. 2 weeks after the Winter Olympics ended, finally, The Weakest Dog's Holler, Is That Pride Necessary?, was out in stores.
The day's finally here.
Yes, I put in my whole journalism soul into this. I'm looking forward to the reception.
Thank you, Miss Kaji and Mr. Iwamoto. I could never get to the final draft on my own.
The book hit Alito Publishing's name under the pseudonym Company A. But everyone immediately pinpointed Company A as Alito Publishing.
They steal people's work, so it's not surprising they do this. Bribes? They're the worst.
It feels like they tarnish the Olympics. Apologize to the athletes that worked hard.
Do you think the president will be arrested? I'd actually LOL if Shin Minaho can't save himself.
Alito Publishing had been sending out bribes to become the main sponsor for the Winter Olympics. After we received the green light from President Ogawa, I told the ladies about all the dark secrets I knew about Alito Publishing.
What? Alito Publishing bribed the executive director of the Olympics Committee?
Shh! You're too loud!
Bribery. If that's true, that's bad.
Yes, they had a top secret meeting with the former executive director to become a main sponsor no matter what. I don't know which side suggested it first, but I got this info from a journalist I knew. It wasn't false.
Isn't that person trying to put that out themselves? Is it okay if we write about it?
They told me I should. It's a friend that also wanted to be a journalist.
So they handed you the baton. They trust you.
That's a huge responsibility.
Money to make yourself look better. Money to shut people up. It was a shady world where that was the norm. The bribery was related to the Winter Olympics, which was a big deal around the world. The cops moved fast.
Breaking news! The biggest publisher in the industry, Alito Publishing's president, Shin Minaho, and the executive director of the Olympics Committee have been arrested. They were arrested for bribery. It is alleged that they utilized these bribes to become the main sponsor for the Olympics.
The screen showed President Minoho and the board member getting arrested as millions of cameras flashed. President Minoho isn't hiding, even in a time like this. I'm sure he's not feeling good. I hadn't had much contact with these people when I was working there. I felt like I was looking at strangers on a screen. Days of the media reporting on Alito were not over with just this. Alito Publishing is being brought up? In shocking news, Insho Publishing announced that they were buying Alito Publishing. They're a family-run business, right? Isn't that impossible?
I think so too. There's no way the Minaho family would let go of their stocks.
President Ogawa, did you sell?
You're right. I knew you'd get it.
President Ogawa? President Ogawa appeared looking calm. The world was in an uproar, but she was calm. She was strong.
While you two were writing, I was also taking action.
According to her, the plan had been set into motion a long time ago. I know President Ogawa had her own sense of justice about the whole thing. The emergency board meeting with Insho Publishing, President Ogawa was there.
I have a proposal for you all today. I would like to hand over stocks for Elito Publishing, my share and that of those who support me. I think it's enough to overpower my little brother.
The meeting room was in shock. It was a shocking proposal from President Ogawa. The Elito Publishing Board members had no idea that a meeting like that occurred. They hurried to President Ogawa.
Please, we can't have some company like Insho Publishing buying us out. We want to refuse.
Some company?
The Elito Publishing Board members were fearful of President Ogawa's aura.
You can't respect or learn from your rival companies. You just look down on them and insult them. I don't understand how you all can be so arrogant. Is that pride necessary?
The Elito Publishing Board members looked at each other. They all bowed in unison, as if they had practiced it.
Can you rethink your decision to save the Minoho family and your brother?
I do not want to save you all, and I never intended to save the Minoho family or my brother from the start. A company that is arrogant and is full of gender discrimination and can't follow rules. It's worthless.
What?
The Elito board members were defeated by President Ogawa. They trudged away. After that, President Ogawa immediately gathered her supporters and handed the stocks over to Insho. Elito Publishing is going down. I can't believe it.
What are you saying? That's the power of the pen. If you're going to be a journalist, you're ready for that, right?
Of course. I'm shaken up by the magnitude of the power of the pen.
You acted bravely and went at it. You encouraged me too. Thank you.
A journalist. Occasionally, their voice can greatly affect the world. I felt that in my bones. I'm sure that this event will have a great effect in my life moving forward. After telling me what had happened, President Ogawa softly put her hand on my shoulder and smiled at me. We were each feeling different things. Meanwhile, Elito Publishing was in chaos.
What? Why? How? Why did this happen?
Io Chitome, who had made fun of me, was one of those people. She was pale with disbelief.
I'll be fine. Unlike the nonfiction department, I'm part of the profitable manga department.
Insho Publishing only wanted the most popular content from Elito, and just some capable employees. Board members were all let go, but it's not like all of the employees were called upon. It was time for Io's interview at Insho. Next, come in.
Yes, sir. I'm Io Chitome from the editing department for Weekly Shoujo Elite. In order to make my manga, Darling Melon Cider aka Darmelo, a hit...
Do not speak out of turn.
I'm sorry?
Since we are bringing in a lot of people, we did some research. Miss Chitome, your father is a board member at Third Place Publishing, correct?
Yes, I respect my father. I wanted to be like him and entered the publishing world. In the end, I joined Elito Publishing.
That sounds great on its own, but we have some questions.
Questions?
Apparently, your father is a former classmate and close friend of the Elito board member that was in charge of the Olympics.
I don't know anything about that.
If you bring in your child to your own company, people will immediately know it's nepotism and judge harshly. So, the plan was to trade children and bring them in. The Elito board member's son goes to third place, and you go to Elito. This was why she had been surviving in Elito, where they treated women terribly. And even though gender discrimination was still rampant at Elito, she was able to do whatever she wanted since she was first hired.
Well, I don't think other women can, but I'm brilliant. I can become Elito's star female editor.
She spoke arrogantly like that every day and did what she wanted. It was nothing other than nepotism, and she had a board member backing her up. I'm surprised you all could come up with something so sneaky. Stealth nepotism. That was a close one for us.
That has nothing to do with me.
I see. However, your support system has nothing to do with us either. I know that Alito had a mass layoff under the guise of early retirement. I know that very capable people were let go because of that too. If these are the only people that are left, we're extremely disappointed.
What? So I...
You just were not a match for Aincho. How about you consult your idea man of a father?
What?
Io was in despair. She crumpled on the spot. Later, the necessary processes were finished, and Alito Publishing was shut down. Who could have guessed that an industry veteran of over 100 years would come to an end? The former president, Shin Minoho, and the board member were given 3 years in prison.
I'll never forget that my family caused this chaos, and I will repay everyone with my actions going forward.
President Ogawa spoke softly after hearing the conviction. I plan to trust her until the end. Io Chitome was unemployed. She had lost her status as an employee at a top company. She was lost. Apparently, her father told her never to rely on him again, because his position is in danger after the nepotism was found out.
What the hell? I can't believe my daddy is so useless. What should I do?
She had no financial support either. She had to find a job somewhere on her own, no matter what. She was dropped after every interview. She didn't have the guts to enter a certain industry. All she could do was work odd jobs to make ends meet. Eventually, The Weakest Dog's Holler became Love Koi Publishing's #1 bestseller. A little feast was held to celebrate. It was at the bar where Miss Kaji and I met.
Konomi Kanda brought her young child, so we were doing this in the daytime.
Cheers!
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 Grandpa! Grandpa!
The bar owner was so happy that his sweet granddaughter was at his bar for the first time, he was in high spirits.
Miss Kaji asked me if there are any men with a super strong sense of justice that are her type. I actually called you when you were single. I had no idea it would come to this so fast.
To this? What do you mean?
You knew that this place has been called the Match Bar recently, right? My daughter is the first couple, but this would be the 8th now. I'm happy.
Hold up, sir. It's nothing yet.
Huh? Yet? I'm sorry. I thought you were here to tell me you two were dating.
I felt relieved because the bar owner had accidentally jumped the gun. It happened sooner than expected, but I was planning on telling her eventually. Miss Yuzuna Kaji? Miss Kaji was red after hearing what I said. You really never know what's going to happen in life. If I hadn't come to this bar, I wouldn't have met this woman, and I might still be at Alito. Everything in this world changes. Nothing is stationary. I will follow my own sense of justice every single time.
Breaking news. Popular manga writer who finished the popular series Always Gets Back Up, the roly-poly toy man, last year, Ryuhei Hitotsubashi is currently being investigated by police. Let's go to Mr. Matsunaga, who is on site.
Hello, we are in front of the Chiyoda Town Police Department. Mr. Hitotsubashi is being investigated for alleged physical abuse to his middle school-aged daughter. A neighbor contacted police after hearing screams. Currently, he's being questioned at the Chiyoda Police Department.
Is the daughter safe? Do you have any information on her current situation?
Fortunately, she's not injured. There's some speculation that she's being kept at a foster agency right now, but we don't have any concrete information.
Mr. H, what are you doing? I bit my lip as I watched the TV. Shivers ran up and down my body. Mr. H was my mentor. My name is Sota Mitoshiro. Until the series concluded last year, I've been working as Mr. H's assistant for 2 years. When the series ended, I stepped down as well. Right now, I was 21 and trying to make it with my own work. I wonder if Emil is okay. I remember that his daughter, Emil, often came to our workspace. She should be in her 3rd and final year of middle school now. I was focused on the screen. The doorbell rang. I didn't have any scheduled deliveries. Who's here at this hour? I looked through the eye hole on the door and couldn't believe what I saw. I rushed to open the door.
Mr. M, please help me.
As soon as she saw me, she looked like she might cry. It was Emil Hitotsubashi. Emil? Long time no see. Why'd you come here?
I have nowhere to go now.
She started crying. I couldn't turn her away. Emil was shaking from cold on her emotions. I let her in and made her some warm tea. She started calming down.
I'm sorry for coming so suddenly. I've looked at my dad's assistant's information book before.
I mean, that's fine, but the news said you were being kept at a facility. What about the foster agency?
You probably know this, but my father is normal as long as he doesn't drink and he's famous so people trust him. I think the police and the agency were fooled by my father. They said we'll just see how things go. They don't know how dangerous things are.
This was a common occurrence. Police and CPS often hesitated when there wasn't any concrete evidence of abuse. If the situation isn't urgent, you need a consent from the guardian, so there have been cases where protection was delayed and led to serious trouble. I'm sorry if I'm overstepping, but can you not contact your mom?
Contact? I don't even know what she looks like. She left when I was young because of my father.
I knew he was a single father, but I had no idea they divorced so early on. As I talked to her, I remember my assistant days when I would go over to the Hitotsubashi house often like some summer camp.
Everyone, today's midnight snack is Emily's special miso ramen that everyone loves.
Yay! Emil's special miso ramen is the best. Thank you for the meal.
When I was an assistant, a housekeeper came during the day to clean and prepare meals. The housekeeper didn't come at night, so middle schooler Emil would make us tea and cook us food.
I don't like this best friend character. Daddy, let's make this a story where the character is a traitor spy and fights the main character.
Because of her environment, Emil read a lot of manga, but in this moment, she was just saying what she didn't like. This unexpected storyline was picked up, and the best friend character was turned into a spy. The story was a hit. After that, Mr. H and the assistants half-jokingly referred to her as Emil-sensei. Those were peaceful days. When the series was going, we didn't have time to drink, so I had no idea that he changed like that. I still clearly remember these days when we were all close, but here Emil was, crumbling in front of me. You can stay here tonight. Mr. H might still be at the station. I'll talk to him later.
Thank you.
This apartment was a dump and pretty far from the train station, but because of that, it had multiple rooms despite being cheap. I put out a futon in a room I was using for storage and put her to bed. I headed to Mr. H's house. The following day, Emil didn't wake up until right before noon. She must have been exhausted.
And good morning. I'm so sorry. I was passed out.
I'm glad you slept well. Last night, I met with Mr. H and talked to him.
What?
You can stay here. I'll raise you. I made Mr. H promise to do all the paperwork with the school and stuff. I even had him to sign on it. It's under your guardian's agreement, so you don't have to worry about anything.
Thank you. I'll do anything I can, so please take care of me.
That's how I became guardian to my mentor's daughter. I acted like it went smoothly. I'll never tell Emil that Mr. H and I fought to the point of cutting each other off. I couldn't imagine how my life would change, but I was gonna do whatever I could. I would do what's best for Emil who asked me for help. It must be traumatic to be hit by her father. I needed to care for her mental state too. That's what I had thought.
Soda! I have to clean. Get up!
It's before 7.
I have to start now, so I'm not late for school. I'm gonna hang this dirty futon outside, so move.
My life with my mentor's daughter was unexpectedly chaotic. It was a rough start.
I'm leaving. Good luck with your part-time job.
Thanks, see ya. Since the day she came to me, I haven't seen her cry. The father she trusted had betrayed her. She went through something tough like that, but Emil was cheerful and brave. It was obvious that she was pushing herself so I wouldn't feel bad. Emil!
What? Another dad joke?
Oh, no. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay.
I want her to laugh genuinely. That's why I would tell her dad jokes every day, but I couldn't think of one today. I had thought of a surprise to make her even just a little bit happier.
Hiya! Emily-sensei, how are you?
Long time no see. I heard we're gonna have Emil's special ramen today, so I haven't eaten anything all day.
What? Mr. Hanaoka and Mr. Sakuma? Why are you two here?
I called them. I thought I'd combine your welcome party with a reunion. Ayano Hanaoka and Leo Sakuma. They were my buddies from my assistant days.
Emily-sensei, wanna come stay at my place? You must be exhausted from all the dad jokes.
Hey, how rude. It's not like all I'm doing is thinking of dad jokes. It's not like I was gonna use them from a manga if they got a laugh.
Let's hide our ulterior motives, Mitoshiro.
I like the dad jokes, kinda.
Emil.
So you two, why are you here today?
We got a call. He wanted us to come see you, so we came flying over.
We always messed around and got to know each other. Calling them here was my surprise to her. By the way, Mr. H's Always Gets Backup, the roly-poly toy man, went on for 10 years, but we were the ones that really kept it going for the last 2 years. Emil was able to help us out a lot after entering middle school, and she was always there with us.
It's been a while since Mitoshiro contacted us too. Thank you for bringing us together, Emil-sensei.
You're an important member of our team. Let's hang out like this again.
Everyone. Thank you. I'm sorry for worrying you.
After that, Emil started sobbing. I'm glad. She's opened up a bit. I knew she was pushing herself. The 15-year-old girl with a broken heart had finally shown her true self. Leo and Ayano started coming over regularly. Emil got better and better every day.
Ayano was working part-time at a PI agency for her detective manga. Leo was working part-time at a ramen shop for his ramen manga. You're all working hard for your debut work. It's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like they encourage me. I'm grateful to them.
Everyone comforted me a lot, so I need to think of how to repay everyone.
Haha, they'll cry happy tears if they hear that.
Will they? But the person I want to repay the most is you, so...
Emil looked at me shyly. She was already in her second year of high school. She's speaking so maturely now. Recently, she's been expressing her gratitude toward me more often. I felt how much she's grown and felt warm inside.
I don't think he gets it.
Back then, I had no idea how things would turn out, but life with Emil was quite peaceful. But I was aware that she looked clouded by her thoughts from time to time.
How can I make Sota happy?
I can't let this go on, right? I thought about her future and looked up at the night sky. More time passed, and Emil graduated high school. She got into her top art school with a scholarship. Congrats, you studied hard.
Thank you. I guess you can't fight DNA. I love manga. I want to study manga from the basics at art school.
I'm rooting for you. While Emil was moving forward, I felt like I was taking 3 steps forward and 2 steps back all the time.
Everyone grab your drink. To Emily-sensei getting into college.
And to meet Toshiro winning the Honorable Mention Award for the Young Intelligence Awards. Cheers!
The usual four were at an izakaya today. Leo and Ayano had suggested it. Emil's beverage was non-alcoholic.
What's wrong, Mitoshiro? Why the long face? Are you unhappy? You're mad you didn't win the actual award?
Well, it's true that most people who won Honorable Mention haven't debuted, but isn't it enough that your work was recognized?
Yeah, Emil is making her dreams come true, so I try my best not to lose. But the road to debuting as a manga artist is long. I feel like I was really faced with that reality this time.
What? Going after your dreams is a happy thing. A life with no dreams is like a superhero with no cape.
Yeah, the person who wrote that famous manga debuted at 45. We're still in our 20s. We're winning.
I was thankful to them for encouraging me, but I had less time to create because my part-time job was getting busy. I think I panicked that I had to win this award this time because I was drawing under those circumstances. You're right. Thanks, you two. I have to accept my current situation as it is. I was trying to move forward. Emil stared at me. 3 years later, Emil beat a tough job hunting battle and got an offer from her top company. What? Love Koi Publishings? I heard it's a great company that's growing like crazy right now, but they don't publish manga.
I know. In college, I learned about Japanese culture, art, and history within manga. I reaffirmed that I do love manga.
Did you consider Insho Publishings, the biggest name in the industry?
My dad had his series there. I couldn't do what I wanted there. My dream is to join a place without a manga department and create my own manga department.
Her dream was so big. My mouth hung open. But her eyes showed that she was serious. I think that's a great idea, but it's not easy.
At the final interview, President Ogawa asked me if I planned to make my own manga department and laughed. But you all never gave up on your dreams. I want to walk the same difficult path.
Okay, if you've made up your mind, I have a proposal so you don't have to worry about your future.
A proposal? What is it?
Emil squinted and frowned at my suggestion.
Humph, long time no see. Come in.
A few months later, I visited Mr. H at his house. I haven't seen him since we talked about Emil, so it's been like 8 years. This was the place where he, the assistants, and I all sacrificed sleep to create that popular manga series. No way. The desk was still piled high with papers, but the floor was full with empty alcohol bottles. There was no place to step. Mr. H, you never quit drinking.
What? Did you come to scold me?
No, that's not it. The spaces beneath his eyes were black and concaved, and he was skinny. He glared at me.
Why are you here? You cut me off that day. What do you want?
Your daughter, Emil, got a job. She's gonna be a working adult soon. It's been 8 years. My role as her guardian will come to an end. I'm here to tell you that.
I see. Is that all?
Mr. H found a bottle with something left in it and drank straight from it. Where she's working, what her dream is, what she looks like now. Aren't you curious?
I'm sure Emil is just like my ex-wife, Kana. I'm sure she's happy to be away from me, isn't she? Kinda left when Emil was little. What does emotional manipulation even mean?
When the series was going, maybe you were too busy, but I heard you didn't drink. The 2 years that I worked here, I never seen you drink.
I try to turn things around. I said I'd make sure Emil grew up well on my own. But once the series ended, I couldn't. Emil tried to stop me from drinking, and all I could see was Kana. It made me mad.
Daddy, stop drinking. Stop drinking and write manga.
Shut up! I can do what I want.
Emil was only in middle school when she desperately tried to stop her dad from drinking. Consumed by alcoholism, he had told me how he shoved his daughter without a hint of regret. I had to let him go as my mentor. I couldn't respect him anymore. You turned to alcohol and hit your daughter. That's your own weakness. I don't pity you.
I'm not looking for that. How about you? 8 years since then, you haven't even debuted. Are you gonna blame it on taking care of a mill?
I thought he might say that. I was rushing to debut because I knew he'd say that. I clenched my fists. I felt disappointed, helpless, and angry. I couldn't help but sound upset. Of course not. She's rooting for my and the other assistants' dreams. I can't debut because of my own issues.
I bet. Debuting is not that easy. You and the others are just assistants in the end. You're on nothing compared to me.
You're gonna insult your assistants while being a manga artist? You couldn't have done it alone.
Don't act high and mighty as an assistant. You should be grateful I let you participate.
I didn't want to believe that these words were coming from someone who had a 10-year-long series. I was thoroughly disappointed. He went on.
I see right through you. Back then, you said, I don't need child support. I'll protect the mill. But taking care of someone costs more than you thought, doesn't it? Even with public school, lesson fees, materials, field trips, cram schools, it's a lot. On top of that, you have food and utilities. Because of that, you worked more and had less time to draw, so you haven't debuted yet. It's all this guy's fault. I won't rest until I get all the money from him. Is that how it is?
He was spiraling all on his own. I couldn't stay silent. You can't even keep your promise to your wife and daughter that you would stop drinking. We're not the same. You're right. I underestimated some of it. It was more expensive than I thought. But, as promised, I don't need your money. But Emil is going to college with a scholarship that needs to be paid back. She basically has a debt of around 4 million yen. Shouldn't you provide this amount at least as a parent?
I get it. You have a point. But I'm sure you get it after seeing this. I was receiving big royalties, but in these 8 years without a job, it's all gone. How do you expect me to pay?
He was angry. If he had this much to buy alcohol, he could have paid for tuition. I looked at the empty bottles around the room and saw something on the desk. I reached out for it instinctively. Always gets back up, roly-poly toy man. I've read this over and over. I won't lose as long as I don't fall down. That's why I get back up. I love this catchphrase. Huh. It was a fan letter written to Mr. H.
What the hell? Stop reading that!
All the papers seemed worn. He must have read them over and over, but I could tell by the dust that they haven't been read in a while. Where did the manga writer that would get all these lovely fan letters from kids go? Back then, you said that the hero in this story was a slightly braver version of you. But you're already down on the count, without even saving your daughter? The bottle in his hand fell, and the sound of the crash echoed throughout the dark room. When the ringing stopped, I could hear Mr. H crying. Meanwhile, there was tension in the air at a restaurant near the station.
Why did you want to meet me now?
I saw the news. That man might have been violent to you, that's why.
This was Kana, the mother that had left a mill before she knew what was going on. A few months after the news, she had visited the Hitotsubashi household.
Hey, it's been 18 years. You're not telling me now that you want to come back, are you?
I have nothing to say to you. Where's Emily? Let me see her.
Haha, you're trying to act like a mother now? Don't make me laugh. She's not here anymore. If you really want to find her, ask a PI or something. Haha.
Her ex-husband threw down the bottle he was holding. She flinched and ran away. When they were still married, Kana had become depressed by Mr. H's drinking and manipulation. She couldn't think properly and left her daughter, but she regretted it deeply. She didn't want to see her ex ever again, so could never work herself up to go get her daughter. That day, she saw the news and couldn't sit still. She had hired a PI to find her daughter. Coincidentally, Ayano Hanaoka was working part-time there.
Mitoshiro, guess what?
What? That's why she had contacted me, Emil's guardian at the time. But I had already been asked by Mr. H to be a guardian. I've been talking to Kana regularly and let her know about the job this time too.
I'm sorry to be so selfish, but can you let me meet Emily? I don't think she remembers my face, and I don't think she'll forgive me, but I want to apologize to her.
I had brought this up to Emil. She frowned for a second, but agreed, so here we were.
You were worried about me?
I know I don't have the right to worry, but I learned that he hurt you too, and could do nothing. I'm selfish. I should have known this would happen if I thought about it a little. Actually, when you were in middle school, I came to see you once. You looked like you were having fun. I have no place here. That's what I thought.
Kana had come just to get a glance at her daughter. You're awesome, Emil-sensei. I want you to give me advice on my manga in the future too.
Of course.
Emily, I'm glad. She looks so happy. I'm so glad.
At the time, us assistants were staying at the Hitotsubashi house, and her mother had seen us laughing together, so she laughed.
Money might not mean anything, but I want you to take this. I couldn't do anything for you as a mother.
She put down a single pocketbook. Once she healed her emotional wounds, she started saving up money in her daughter's name. There was 1.1 million yen. She was right below an amount that would get taxed.
I can't accept this. If you're going to give this to someone, you should give it to Mr. M, who raised me.
Well, he didn't accept the money, so I want you to...
Mom, I read all the manga in your room. I learned how to read and write from the manga you left me. Reading the manga you had was how young me spent time with you.
Emily!
It wasn't all fun times, but that was her first step into the world of manga.
I was so lonely that I cried reading them sometimes, but I came to love manga. It's all thanks to your manga and Mr. M, who raised me like his own, and the assistants. I grew to love manga, but I almost came to hate it because of Dad. Mr. M saved me from that. That's why I'm going to live my life repaying him. Thank you for not forgetting about me. Have a good life, Mom.
Kana was prepared not to be forgiven, but she couldn't help but cry. Later, Mr. H sold his home and moved to a cheap apartment. He paid off Emil's scholarship with that money.
Emil, I'm sorry.
I had Mr. M. If you're going to repent, do it for Mom. You hurt her.
Mr. H finally accepted his mistakes after being told by his daughter. The deadline to ask for alimony is 3 years. That time has passed, but he gave the rest of the money he had from selling his home to his ex-wife. Meanwhile, Kana couldn't just let her daughter go. After a while, Emil received a pocketbook in her name, a stamp, and a debit card. Inside, she found the same 1.1 million yen and a letter.
Emily, thank you for calling me Mom.
When she looked through the pocketbook, she could see that her mom had worked hard to save up this money. Emil cried quietly. After that, 1.1 million and the alimony amount was deposited every year. As for me, on Emil's graduation day, she told me she needed to talk to me.
Mr. M. No, Sota. Thank you for saving me that day and continuing to protect me. So, from now on, can you please look at me as a woman?
What?
Ugh, I knew you never noticed.
I had no idea the gloomy face she would make sometimes was due to love. I clearly recognized how she felt this day. 3 years after that graduation...
It's finally publishing day for the manga magazine Weekly Love Koi.
Miss H, you worked hard. It's all thanks to you that Love Koi Publishings has its first manga magazine.
Thank you. We have so many creators here. I'll make it successful for sure.
She confidently showed President Ogawa the list of manga creators in the magazine. Listed there were Sota Mitoshiro, Ayano Hanaoka, and Leo Sakuma.